This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
For over 25 years, South Floridians have counted on Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises for their roofing needs. In South Florida, we battle the sweltering heat, rain, winds, and all kinds of tropical storms. That's why when it comes to protecting your family, home, or business, call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com. 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs. All work fully guaranteed with the customer's complete satisfaction. A-plus rated member of the Better Business Bureau. Licensed and insured. There's no buts about it. When your roof needs repair or replacement, go to TommyBButtsJrEnterprises.com. A certified widening contractor.
Hey, it's Big O. Protect your home the way we do with Sloman's Home Security, folks. And if you want some great news, how about this? A free doorbell camera. That's right. The first 40 Big O listeners who dial 1-800-ALARM-ME will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloman's Shield. And that's not all, folks. Sloman's is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 Big O listeners to call 1-800-ALARM-ME, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. Keep your family safe like we do here in the Alzigari family. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME.
South Florida's premier law enforcement agency is now hiring individuals like you. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is now accepting applications for non-certified and certified police officer positions. Minimum requirements and qualifications can be found at flpdjobs.com. That's flpdjobs.com. Are you ready? The city of Fort Lauderdale is an equal opportunity employer.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. You're tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Fly Pablo in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show O's on the radio, the top's where we gonna go, Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, Big O, no one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk...
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727, or online at adreamlending.com. The viewpoints, stance, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by Caneswear. Go to caneswear.com, where all orders over $99 get free shipping. Sloman's Total Home Security. Protect your home with the best in the business. 1-800-ALARM-ME for the company serving America for nearly 100 years. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tommy B. Butts Junior Enterprises.com. Licensed roofing contractor. 100% financing is available. Go to Tommy B. Butts Junior Enterprises.com.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. Invest a little time and save big. Just set the recurring buy and pay, zero transaction fee after your first purchase. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Welcome aboard. Good morning, boys and girls. Hope you all are doing well out there on a beautiful Tuesday. At least I hope it's beautiful wherever you're at around the world and watching the show. Thank you for watching the show whenever you do watch the show, live or recorded later on or in segments as Sean puts it up on YouTube, or if you're listening on the podcast at any time, day or night. We thank you all. Don't forget to smash the like button whenever you're listening, whenever you're watching. It is incredibly important. Hope you all are doing. Man, we got a bunch of stuff I got to talk about, man. We got a lot of things that are just happening everywhere. Heat, Marlins, Dolphins, Panthers, Inter, Canes, NFL, you name it. I mean, so many things going on. Crypto market, of course, which, is nice to see, by the way. Bitcoin over 39,000. I'm sorry. So actually went back down. Now it's 38.5. So we'll see. There's some talk that, it could hit 40, 41 and then have another dip. So we will see. I'm actually, me, I'm hoping for that dip. I want to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible before I can never do it again and get it at this kind of price. But anyway, so good stuff. A lot of things to talk about in the world today. We got a lot of people to talk to today. As always, we are loaded. Manny Navarro will be joining us at 11:30. Listen, last week I put out a schedule, and the schedule is the schedule. But there have been a couple of tweaks this week with Cam and with Joe Schad, so we had to kind of adjust, right? Because today was Cameron Wolf, but he's tomorrow, actually. So it's, one of those deals. Like Joe Schad was yesterday, but he's today because both guys are traveling, so we had to accommodate them for traveling. So Manny Navarro will be at 11:30. Omar Kelly will be at 12:30, and Joe Schad at 1 o'clock. So we'll have some fun with all of them here on the program. So we got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of people to talk to. Obviously, we will take your questions and comments along the way, which you can do it right there on the YouTube chat board, on the text line 855-912-1056. We will check the chat board, the Twitter page at Big O Show, of course. Tom Brady announced his retirement officially, which, he was already retired. It's just a bunch of crap that they went through and all that. It just, those two guys had to get it out because obviously they want to be the first to get it. And, they're some of the top insiders in the business. So they wanted to get it out. It wasn't like it was ever going to be inaccurate with Darlington and Schefter ever reported. So he has retired and he is gone. And we haven't had to deal with him in the division now the last 2 years. So, it is what it is. But, I mean, it's about time. But I thought he was going to play to 45 now. I thought the avocado ice cream was going to keep him until 45 or 50. Thought he was going to keep playing and keep playing and keep playing. And then, I don't know. I just all of a sudden, no more. And I could read his statement for you all out there if you want. And here I'll pull up the statement here on the what's it called, on social media. Here it is. Tom Brady. I have always believed the sport of football, it's an all-in proposition. If it's 100% competitive commitment isn't there, you will not succeed. And success is what I love so much about our game. And since we sucked in the last one, no, I'm sorry, I added that. There is a physical, mental, and emotional challenge every single day that has allowed me to maximize my highest potential. And I have tried my very best these past 22 years. There are no shortcuts to success on the field or in life. This is difficult for me to write, but here it goes. I'm going to make that competitive. I am not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I loved my NFL career, and now it's time to focus my time and energy on things that require my attention. In other words, Giselle and the kids are saying enough is enough. Get your ass out of there. Let's go. You still look normal right now. That hit may come that may, just alter our lives. So get the hell out. Let's go. So he is officially retired already. And you know what it was, right? Here, I'll explain to you what happened here. He screwed up. He and his agent allowed it to get out to Darlington and to Schefter. And then they realized that, well, wait a minute, dude, there's some other playoff games going on and all that. Maybe we should have held out because, it takes away from the attention. And that's why he came up with this BS the last 48 hours of, well, it's, Jim Gray, you've been here to kiss my ass the entire time. And, these men work really hard and, they put themselves in position. I didn't want to take away. So all this mental masturbation crap, I mean, this is all garbage. Okay, you screwed up. You let the cat out of the bag. You should have waited, and you should have actually kept Darlington and Schefter in the dark going, no, man, I think I'm going to come back. I think I'm going to come back. And then after the Super Bowl, make the announcement so you don't take no shade away from everybody else. But since you let the cat out of the bag, that's it. And so now, if you don't say anything, it festers for 2 more weeks, and it's part of the Super Bowl headlines. So why not eliminate the headlines and just say it now? And for the next 48 hours, people will talk about the GOAT and the greatest and retired and avocado ice cream and Giselle and the kids. And then in 48 hours, we'll all forget because that's what we do. And then we can move on for the next 10 days to talk about the Super Bowl. So that's really what happened. I mean, if you want me to tell you exactly what happened, this is what happened. And they didn't realize that how big it would get, how disruptive it would be. And so now, instead of allowing it to fester, yeah, that's it. Let's just, shoot old Yeller and put him out of his misery, and that's it. Let's do it. How many young people pick up that reference? Anyway, so that's all. That's all was going on. So, Tom, great career. You're the GOAT. Fine. Get out of here. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Okay. Boss B, thank you, sir, for some love on the super chat. Big O using contact list instead of Rolodex last night with Asheville Station. You stopped using Rolodex. LOL. Yes, I did. Yep, I stopped using the Rolodex with the Asheville boys. I told you you gotta modernize it. You know what I'm saying? The problem is I don't have all the things that I can transition in conversations from one to another with modern day references. I have some modern day references, but they all don't fit every narrative that you're trying to cover. You know what I'm saying? But over 50 years, I have all kinds of references to fill all kinds of narratives. And so some references will come from something that's recently, and then some will come from 20, 30, 40 years ago. And so that's the challenge. So some of you young folks out there, you just got to grab your phones and Google and go, what the hell is that? What is a Rolodex? And then you can actually, first you got to know how to spell it. But then, and then you can look it up and you can learn some stuff, by the way. No, but I had fun with the guys in Asheville. It's funny because Asheville is one of those places I've been kind of looking at as a future spot. Anyway, let's see. Adam says, Big O, friend, delusional Finn fan, can you please clear it up for him that keeping Greer and revolving the entire franchise around an incapable QB has hurt them while trying to acquire a decent coach? My brother, I've already been talking about that for a while now, and it's there. It's all there. It's all in the podcast. Your buddy can go back and listen to it and all of that. And I've explained it over and over. Listen, in the end, the Tua disbelievers you will not convince. They will have to see Tua perform in order for them to be convinced. Just like I would have to see Ryan Tannehill play like a real franchise quarterback if I ever was going to believe it. Same thing. That's all. There's no difference. And I've never been proven wrong by Ryan Tannehill, even when he was getting stats, because that's all they were stats, because he was just a product of the system. So your buddy, you'll never convince. Your buddy doesn't believe in Tua. So Tua has to go out and prove it to a lot of people. And there's a lot of people in the media, and there's a lot of people that are a lot of fans that have completely lost faith in Tua, and they don't believe that he can be the guy. That's all. It's really not that difficult to understand. And this is nothing new in the history of sports. There are players that you believe, and then there are players you don't believe in. Jimmy Garoppolo is one of those players that most people don't believe in. Kirk Cousins is a player most people don't believe in. And he puts up stats, but they don't believe that he's the difference maker. They don't believe he's the guy that will elevate people in key moments. He can be a facilitator, which is what he proves to be on his best days, and that's kind of sometimes what Tannehill is. But is he Russell Wilson? No. Do they view Tua as Russell Wilson? No. Do they view Kirk Cousins as Russell Wilson? No. Do they view Jimmy Garoppolo as Russell Wilson? No. And so until certain players cross that threshold, you're not going to believe it. And even players that haven't crossed that threshold, Justin Herbert, it's funny, right? Because he never crossed the threshold in college and hasn't done it in the NFL. But yet you have people that believe that he's going to be the second coming. Yet Tua has crossed that threshold in college. But in the NFL, since he's been injured and then learning, he doesn't look like he's crossed that right now, right? Because he hasn't. So he has to prove to people. It's just the way it is. And everybody can create their own narratives. So because Justin Herbert looks the part, he's already considered like he is the part. And that couldn't be further from the truth because you still have to prove it. But in a lot of people's eyes, just because you have the physical traits, that's all you need, which is not true either. Just ask Ryan Leaf and just ask Achilles Smith and just ask Tim Couch and just ask Jared Goff and just ask, I could go on and on and on, and Jamarcus Russell, and I can talk about Jeff George, and I can talk about all kinds of guys that had the physical ability but didn't have the mental capability. They weren't able to be consistent enough, but that's just the way it is. So time will answer all. Time will prove whether Tua can play or not. Time will prove whether Justin Herbert is the difference maker. He is what matches his physical abilities. All of this will be proven. And if crazy-ass Jim Harbaugh wants to get back into NFL coaching, I'm not a believer. I need to be proven right or wrong. In other words, that's life, man. So your friend not believing in Tua, you know what? What I would tell you is don't give a shit. Don't care about convincing him. What is your life going to be any better? Who cares? So you worry about it on your own. Don't worry about what somebody else thinks. Can't convince them. You're not going to convince them. So let Tua do that instead. So we'll find out if they build the offense around him and they give him a chance. We'll all find out who's right and who's wrong when it's all said and done. That's it. I did want to talk about how it's hilarious how writers and media members and fans, and there's this like double standard, and we talk about it all the time with all kinds of different things in life and in sports. And so now we're talking about the Dolphins, right? And they're like, well, hey, why are they committed to Tua? Well, that's wrong. You're going to force the next coach to be, committed to Tua. And it's like, well, they drafted the guy. The front office believes in the guy. A lot of people believe in the guy. A lot of people don't. So you got to find the people that believe in him, right? And so they want to keep the defensive staff. And some people will complain about, well, why are you making the defensive staff and why do you want them to be inherited by the next coach? Aren't you straddling it? Even though the last few coaches that we've had can't build staffs, but if this defensive staff you feel is all right, then why not stay with it? If you think there's some potential there, why not stay with it, right? So all of these things are going on, right? And, the Brian Daboll hire also over the weekend. And I got fans like, oh my God, they're screwing this up. And we really don't know if Brian Daboll is the guy or not. We don't know if Mike McDaniel's the guy or not. We just don't know. Eberflus might be the best candidate of them all. And we didn't talk about him here. Don't know. None of us really end up knowing. But let me ask you, do you know what's going on with the New York Giants? Because Brian Daboll took over the job knowing that he had to work with Daniel Jones. Because they didn't want to give up on Daniel Jones. And they've had him an extra year. And he's played a lot more than Tua, actually. By the way, did you know that Brian Daboll also kept the defensive staff that was in place? Because he's a young coach and it's going to be hard for him to build a staff. So the coach that's in place, he knows already. He's known him he worked with him for 2 years in New England. So he has some similar, but it's not the guy he's hiring. He's inheriting him and his staff, Flaherty staff on defense, because it makes his life easy. So if the Dolphins are trying to make life easy for the next young coach, not Harbaugh, get that through your heads. So it's it's weird, right? They're trying to avoid some of the mistakes of the past. Yet fans want to force them to make the mistakes of the past. Because when you hire a young coach, it's hard for them to build staffs. We've learned that. So if you have some continuity on defense, oh, by the way, the Giants were 21st on defense. They weren't great on defense. But they felt like, okay, the offense wasn't great. It put a lot of burden on the defense. Flattery and his staff did a good job overall. Let's keep them. Why? Because Brian Daboll knows that his life is a little easier because he's got some continuity and a defensive staff in place. But when the Dolphins are doing it, it's evil. It's irresponsible. There's no foresight in it. I mean, maybe it could work out. See, the part that we all got to get over is we don't know what's going to work. Because we thought Saban would work. And we thought Jimmy Johnson would work. And we thought Bill Parcells would work. And we thought all those were home runs. Because our franchise, our favorite team, signed the best name out there. How'd that work out? It didn't. So now I almost feel like this is like the least amount of enthusiasm I've seen for a head coach. And I almost feel like maybe this is the one that's going to end up working out because of that. Because none of us, that's what I'm trying to tell you. None of us know. We don't know who really is the coach. We thought this, we thought that, and we were all wrong. Every bit of us. Because just like you, I wanted Jimmy. And just like you, I wanted Saban. And just like you, I wanted Parcells. And it didn't work out. At least with Jimmy, he got you some pretty good defensive players when he left. That's it. What he did to Marino was unacceptable. I'll never forgive him for that. But whatever. But none of them were successful. And we thought for sure, oh man, we stole Saban from 3-4 other teams that wanted him. Oh, wow, Parcells wants to come back and build a team. His fat ass wants to go bet on horses in Saratoga. So let's have a little bit more of an open mind. I'm not asking you for patience because patience is not something that you can ask a Dolphin fan for. But either way, you got nothing but time. It's not like you control what's going on. But don't make it sound like you know exactly who's the right coach. Because we've been through the big names. We've been through the hot shot coordinators. We've done it all. And the last coach, by the way, the front office was trying to assist him and help him, and he didn't want help. Maybe Mike McDaniel is more receptive to it and understands that he needs the help. And as he picks up experience, and if he has success, then he'll be able to alter and adjust his coaching staff along the way. But first, you got to kind of earn that. And that's the problem. You've given power to people that haven't earned it, i.e. Flo Gase. And then you've also given the entire team to people you thought could run the franchise, i.e. Parcells, Saban, and Jimmy, and they didn't get it right. So any of us to sit on our high horse and say, oh, we know who the coach is going to be. Come on, man. Don't be an idiot. We've made that mistake all over. We've all thought one coach or the other is the right one, and we've all been wrong and fallen flat on our faces. It's just an inexact science. And we don't know what combination is the right combination. So for us to sit here and say, oh, why should he accept that quarterback? Why not? Maybe it works out. Well, why should they keep the defensive staff? Well, why not? Maybe it works out. We've tried everything else. So maybe you keep defensive staff and you have some continuity, and you had no continuity or chemistry on offense. So Mike McDaniel comes in with his staff to fix the offense. And I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody come in that might be a veteran coach that will help out as a consultant type. You know what I mean? I kind of like this in a way. You know why I like this? All right, let's talk about this one now. Okay? Here's what I like about what's going on, at least right now, so I can feel somewhat better about all of this. And I think it is important. The collaboration talk. I mean, okay, so you had a front office that was trying to work with you and get you whatever player you needed, right? And they did. And it didn't work a lot of times. They also helped you get a quarterback that you used a lot to win games in Fitzpatrick. They also got you an offensive coordinator that you could not find. Now we're talking about Dable inheriting a defensive staff, Mike McDaniel inheriting a defensive staff, okay? So they got you an offensive coordinator and you scared him off. So you've got a McKenzie who's helped build teams in Oakland and helped Jack Del Rio, and they got to the playoffs, and they found some pretty damn good players overall on that team. They had no business getting fired. Malik Allen's been part of really good buildups with Atlanta and Kansas City. And so and Greer has his connections. So you've got people willing to work with you, but you don't want to work with them. That doesn't make any sense. If they're people they've been in the league maybe even longer than you, and they have the resources to help you, how are you not going to accept that? So I'd rather have the guy that's going to come in and actually work with these gentlemen so they can actually accomplish the same thing. But if we're going to have Ireland fighting against Sperano and Sperano fighting against Ireland and Philbin and Ireland and Ponte and we got Spielman and Wanstead fighting against each other, and we've got Adam Gase with social distancing from everybody and mother effing everybody and wanting to fire everybody, and you understand what I'm saying? It's kind of been a turmoil type thing every time. And there always seems to be some kind of combative situation in there. Tannenbaum and everything else, and a fight for power and all that. And this is not a matter of, hey, who's got the biggest rod here? Like, let's lay it on the table and let's see. No, that's not what this is about. So it's about collaborating and finding out and teaming up and trying to figure this thing out. It's not about one dictator saying this, and this. So they're trying to get people to work together. I don't find anything wrong with that. If you don't get along with your wife or your husband, I don't think your relationship's going to last long. If you've got 1, 2, 3, or like the Marlins, 15 business partners, you need to get along. I think I'm pretty sure Vinny Viola and Doug Sifu get along. Right? So there has to be collaboration. There has to be chemistry in anything in life. I don't care what it is, dude. If you play on a marching band, if you have a sales team, if you have a radio station, if you have a car wash, if you have a football team. So the fact that we're almost I feel like we see people in the media and fans kind of making fun about finding collaboration. And it's like, I'm sorry, what's wrong with that? I see the Giants are trying to collaborate. They understand they got a young coach. The young coach understands not easy to find an entire staff. So he's willing to inherit the defensive staff that's there. He's inheriting the quarterback because he thinks he can still work with that quarterback. I'm not sure what's wrong with that. You look at Mr. Schultz, who Jordan Schultz is a very good reporter. And Jordan tweeted out yesterday that several NFL executives have told me Mike McDaniel is the best fit for the Dolphins head coaching job. With one saying he thought McDaniel would get the job. I'm told Miami, is enamored with McDaniel, innovative running game, and how he'd maximize rising star Jalen Waddle. Then he follows up. He says, source, Mike McDaniel's Dolphins interview spanned much of the day with McDaniel stressing to Chris Greer his plans on how to unlock Tua, wants a quicker passing game, and believes he can win with Tua. Collaboration. Well, what a difference that you get a coach that wants to work with your quarterback. A coordinator that is, obviously, he has offensive mind. Flo doesn't. So if Tua is going to succeed, you need Mike McDaniel. Why? Because he's willing to collaborate. And somehow or another, that's important. I mean, if you're going to have a kid, you got to find a woman to collaborate with. Right? You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with what's going on. I just find it freaking hilarious that we make it sound like it's this, a bad thing. You think I want to work with anybody I don't get along with? No. There has to be collaboration and chemistry with me and Sean. Has to be. That's everything in life, man. So I just find it hilarious how we want to make fun of something that makes a lot of sense. And we've already tried the other way of bring the big name and just, let them run roughshod through the franchise. And yeah, I love how, when we were talking about the whole thing with Harbaugh and people were telling me, well, he doesn't even need to interview. Well, of course he does. You need to know what he wants to do. Because if he wants to just change up the entire organization, it sets it all back. Right now, you're really not getting set back, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen. If you keep the defensive staff going, you keep the scheme going, you bring most of the players back, there's chemistry there. There was never any chemistry on offense. So whatever you're doing on offense is already a positive from what's been going on the last year anyways. But if you bring somebody else in that wants to change the defense, now you've got to change everything. So yes, that all would have to be talked about on how you're going to handle everything. And again, as I started in the prior conversation, there's no guarantees. None. Zero. Even if you do like Harbaugh, even if I think you're out of your effing mind to think that Harbaugh is the answer, you still don't know. Mike McDaniel still could be the better option for you in the NFL right now. That's what you don't. I mean, what I saw from Jim Harbaugh, on offense in Michigan was offensive. I mean, if you're bringing me Lincoln Riley, okay, dude, hey, man, I got you. I'm not going to argue with you. You're bringing me somebody innovative. You're bringing me Lane Kiffin. Oh, yeah, dude, yeah. You know what I saw at Michigan? Are you effing kidding me, bro? Leon Fresco, thank you, sir. Philbin's staff in Super Bowl can't use that now. Yeah, no, that's been used like a ton already. And I'll say what I said to everybody. Like, you knew 10 years ago, Zach Taylor was Sherman's understudy, the guy that saddled us with Tannehill. Your resume is already screwed right there. That's it. Zach Taylor's name was already strained and crapped on at that moment right there. Oh, wait a minute. You're the son-in-law of Mike Sherman? Yeah, no. You need to get out of here with Mike Sherman. Oh, yeah, but I'm nothing like him. We didn't know that. So, that's love you, Leon, but that's the lazy take that, oh, well, Zach Taylor was here and we didn't know, and nobody knew 10 years ago. And remember the scenario 10 years ago. Okay? His father-in-law drafted a receiver at number 8 overall. Jose, thank you for a little love on the super chat. People really comparing McDaniel to Gase and Philbin now. I mean, it's just, whatever. But that's how it's going to be. And people aren't going to believe in McDaniel either because it's up to him now to prove everybody wrong. That's just the way it is. What are you going to do? Let's get a little honey and lemon. Already feeling a little rough on the voice. LB Miami says, Big O, you compare Tua to Breeze when he was more like Chad Pennington. LB, bro, compare whatever the hell gets your rocks off, bro. I don't give a crap, dude. You know what I mean? You want to compare him to Pennington? Go ahead, dude. I'll compare him to Breeze, and I don't care. You know what I mean? So compare him to whoever you want, bro. Compare him to your grandmother if you want. I don't give a shit. Question to you. If Tua doesn't make it this year, who do you blame, the owner, Greer, or Flores? No, you can't. Flo, you can't blame. If Tua fails, it falls on Greer. Nobody else. That's all. Nobody else. So, listen, we've talked about this already. By making this change, the front office has put all the heat on themselves now. They know it. They're smart enough. Those are 3 smart dudes, man. They know what they're doing. And they know that they screwed up with Flo. and they're not going to get a chance to hire a third coach. The fact that they're getting a chance to hire their second coach is a miracle as it is. But it's happening because everybody in the building knows what the hell was going on with that guy. Okay? So everybody in that front office knows that they've got to come through, and if they don't, it's their ass. That's all. So they've got to make sure they nail this. And there was no way, and by the way, there was no way they would want Harbaugh because Harbaugh would run the entire show. Everybody would get fired pretty much eventually. Leon says, again on Super Chat, thank you, Leon. He says, just saying can't say Philbin couldn't find people. He couldn't. He couldn't find people. They weren't good enough at that moment. They didn't really get anything done. So you're playing the game 10 years later. 10 years later doesn't count 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, they weren't ready to compete. They didn't have the right people. And you had Zach Taylor doing what? He wasn't really doing the job. He was just an understudy at that point. That's what he was, Leon. He wasn't coaching. Now he gets to make the calls. That's a different ball game. So we don't know at that point. So no, he did not. If they had success, Leon, then he found people. But at that moment, he couldn't find anybody because he didn't have success. So you can't really judge it that way. You can't judge it 10 years later. Most of us are better at whatever we do normally 10 years later because you're more experienced. You've done it for 10 more years. You should be better. So you're a different find at that point. 10 years ago, 10 years ago, you're a newbie. 10 years in, you're a master at your craft. Huge difference. Let's see. FYI, Big O, Dable made his own decision on keeping Graham. Finn's not giving new head coach that decision. So where's the collaboration? The collaboration is that you're working with them. That you're willing to work with something that's working. That's it. And for the coach, he kept Graham because he knows it's a lot easier to keep what's in place than going to replace it, is my point that you're missing. That what the Dolphins are doing is they're assisting a young coach. What the Giants are doing, one, with the quarterback, they wanted to keep him, but two, by, hey, check out Patrick Graham and all that, and he's keeping him because Dable knows Dable is smarter than Flo. Dable is willing to be helped. And hopefully Mike McDaniel's willing to be helped. That's the part you're not understanding about the collaboration part. Yes, the Dolphins are saying, yeah, we want to keep the defensive staff because we've had the problems with young coaches not being able to fill out staffs. But Dable clearly is not Flo. Dable's willing to work with people. That's the difference. That's what I'm trying to explain. Let's see, Mauricio, the offensive philosophy needs to change. That's why they're leaning to McDaniel and Moore right now. The defensive coach schemes are set. Young coordinators would love this scenario. I agree. A young coordinator won't be able to build a defensive staff. And this is a blessing for them at this point in time. Man, we've tried everything else. So I'm willing to give anything a chance now at this point. Anthony Vega, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, Big O, do you think a faster tempo offense would be better for Tua? Yeah, hell yeah. Yes, definitely. But you got to get not only faster. Look, Anthony, they still got to run the damn ball, dude. You got to run the ball. You got to be able to punch people in the mouth and shove the ball down their throats. I don't care what quarterback you have. But if you want to, help Tua, it can't only be about a fast passing game. Yeah, it's great. He can do that, and I'm not worried about that. But I'm worried more about a line and a running game, and that's the job that the front office and I would imagine Mike McDaniel have got, because I think it's McDaniel already. I've been telling you, haven't I told you already? Told you Dable's target 1 and McDaniel's target 2. Dable's off the board. McDaniel's the next guy. That's who they're going for. So I'm not surprised we're going in that direction. Mike says the best head coach options out there right now didn't even get interviewed with Miami. How do you know? Because it's not Miami like to make the right decisions. But who is? Caldwell, but nobody else is getting him. That's the crazy part. I want Caldwell, and nobody wants him. All depends on what you think is the best option, too. Right? Because some of you think it's Harbaugh, and I laugh at that. But again, like I said earlier, time will answer all. That's the beauty of all of this. Time's going to answer every bit of this, and we'll find out how good Harbaugh is. So to me, that's the part I like about all of this. And I hope, I am praying that Minnesota hires him, because I want to see what he does there in Minnesota, and I want to see what kind of a disaster it's going to be when he comes back to this league. And I truly believe that. 90 Miles from Cuba says, at least try and establish the run. Flo didn't even try to run the ball. And when he did, he stopped running it. Yeah. No, I mean, that playoff game, Duke Johnson gets a couple of runs, and he never does it again. You win that game, you can light up a Perdomo cigar like that champagne there with that Connecticut wrapper. You see that 93 rating from Cigar Journal. By the way, have you guys visited the Perdomo retail store right off the Palmetto and 57th Avenue? It's an experience, by the way. And they have a lounge there. So if you want, you can actually hang out. Nick Perdomo is there all the time, so you can meet the star himself. Okay? Nick Jr. is also there all the time. Say hi to Arthur if you run into Arthur in there, too. Really good people over there in the Perdomo family. So check it out. No, but seriously. And if you meet Nick, tell him to show you his office, because he's got this badass drum set. Because Nick plays drums. I don't know if you guys know this. So he's got a band and he jams, and it's like it's an office / studio. It's really cool. So check it out. If you do go to the retail store, okay, right off the Palmetto and 57th Avenue, you can buy your cigars there. They've got all kinds of cigars. You can buy the empty boxes, too. Some of you out there like to do creative stuff with the boxes. They've got tons of boxes there for sale. They've got memorabilia, all kinds of stuff. I wore my Perdomo. Do I have a Perdomo hat here? No, I don't. I have it in the car. So I wore my Perdomo hat. They got Perdomo hats, shirts, all kinds of stuff. But check out the retail store, man. Right off of the Palmetto Highway and 57th Avenue. Tell them that Big O sent you. They'll take care of you over there, man. They're good people at Perdomo Cigars. So good stuff there with Nick and company. Let's see. What else? Big O, do you think Mike McDaniel has the proper cojones? Dude looks nerdy. Laces may be out with this dude a little. Look, man, I am not going to read a guy just because he has, that look. Does Andy Reid look intimidating? Dick Vermeil cried all the time. There's nothing intimidating about Dick Vermeil at all. Marv Levy was a kind, gentle soul that could coach his ass off. So if you're going to go by demeanors, you know what I'm saying? Tony Dungy was a cigar store mannequin. You're going to go by demeanors? Is that what we're doing now? I've watched maniacs on the sidelines like Jimmy Johnson and John Madden win. I've watched cigar store mannequins like Tom Flores and Tony Dungy do nothing on the sidelines. I've seen the stoic guys like a Tom Landry who had that quiet type of anger. I've seen all kinds. Dick Vermeil crying his way to a championship. So if you're ever going to judge a coach by his demeanor on the sidelines, you're gonna struggle big time, my brother, because you could have Pat Riley with the Armani suits, and you can be a little bit more cerebral like Spoelstra, who's completely different than Riley, or you could be like Lenny Wilkins, who was completely different than those two. So to judge a coach and think that there's only one way to win and you have to look this way and that Mike McDaniel does not fit your MO, that doesn't make any sense, dude. So you and I will respectfully, completely disagree on that. Okay. Tony Dungy reminds me of Enemy Mine. From my seat says, I think McDaniel is very personable and will be a cool parent type vibe. Let the captains and coordinators be the tough motivational guys. Well, guess what? I think Spo does a little bit of that with UD, right? I think Spo's very cerebral. I think he does crack the whip a little bit. There's no doubt, because I've been told he can turn into an a-hole a little bit with guys. But I think he uses his veterans in the locker room to kind of police things. So yeah, there's no right way or wrong way to do things. Different coaches have won in different ways, man. Dougie Fresh says most every San Francisco player has been demonstrative about how much they love McDaniel and his player-centric style. Undergrided. Is that what it is? Undergrided or undergirded with serious smarts and preparedness. He does get like really cool reviews, from people that played with him and are playing with him. Because I just saw what was Pierre Garçon. He was talking about how he was a real fan of McDaniel and how he devises things and all that kind of stuff. Hey, listen, the good thing about this is in life, you all run into this, and it's probably happened to some of you out there. In life, you've done enough to warrant a promotion. You've done enough in life that you should be given more responsibilities in another job, and you never got that opportunity. You never got to prove yourself. How do you know Mike McDaniel's not that guy? We don't. We just don't know. So maybe McDaniel is a very good offensive mind and maybe a good head coach. Maybe he does know how to connect with human beings. By the way, his daughter was born the day after my birthday. She's born October 2nd. I'm October 1st. I saw a little video on 5 things you don't know about McDaniel. So it's like it's all over the damn web now. Big O, your thoughts on how RPO hurt our O-line and Tua compared to versus West Coast offense, what they can do, or what that can do for our O-line and Tua. My brother, what hurt was you couldn't run the ball. You can't have an RPO and the first word is run, and you can't run. Only Flo would be that stupid. All right, kid, we're going to run an RPO, but the defense knows we can't run. Have fun. Think about that one. Just, you know, just think about it. That's all. Think about it. And now that you've thought about it, make sure you call Sloman's at 1-800-ALARM-ME to keep your home safe. That's right. Keep your family safe. Keep your pets safe. I always say that because I love my pets. Yeah, I got to keep my my wife, my daughter, my mother-in-law, and the uncle, everybody safe at home. All right, okay, I got that. But my dog's very important also. Okay. So that's what I love about Sloman's Home Security. I can actually keep up with everything in and around the house, around the neighborhood. I had a camera installed on the corner so I could like see everything going on in the streets because, you always see some idiot that's speeding or whatever and all that kind of stuff. So you want to make sure you want to keep abreast of everything going on. You know what I'm saying? And even, listen, right now we're going to give you a free doorbell camera. Yeah. 1-800-ALARM-ME. And if you're the first 40 Big O listeners right now, you will get a free doorbell camera. 1-800-ALARM-ME. It connects directly to your smartphone, so you can check it out every moment of every single day, folks. And it's installed with your Sloman Shield. And we're going to give you a free customized home security system. You're going to get professional installation, of course, when you use our low-cost central station monitoring. Plus, we're going to give you an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery, folks. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 Big O listeners right now, call 1-800-ALARM-ME, and you're going to love that doorbell camera to keep up when somebody's dropping off a package, food, whatever it is that's going on. Even, you know what, maybe you're away from the front door and you can tell a person, hey, do me a favor, just leave the package there on the left corner so it doesn't get wet. I'll get it in a minute. And, maybe you're in the backyard, maybe you're upstairs, maybe you're whatever, and then you can go back and get the package. Somebody's bringing food and you're on your way home and you ordered on, whatever it is, Uber Eats and all that. And you see that they're arriving, you can tell them, hey, yeah, just leave the food right there. I'll be there in a minute. Thank you very much. It's beautiful, man. You're always in contact. And that's what I love about Sloman's Home Security. You can check out all your cameras. I have them inside the house, too, so I can check out my dogs. It's a beautiful thing. Check it out. 1-800-ALARM-ME. First 40 Big O listeners, free doorbell camera, and tell them you heard it right here on the show. 1-800-ALARM-ME. All right. At 11:30, Manny Navarro will be joining us. By the way, had a great weekend. Sean and I and Angela, by the way, because Sean's girl was with us. We went to the fights on Friday, and that was fun, man. We had a really good time. By the way, thank you to all that went and met you all out there at the fights. I met some of you. I didn't get to meet all of you out there, but I hope you all had, if any of you are watching on the chat board, drop in the comments if you enjoyed yourselves. The first couple fights weren't as competitive, but there were a couple really good fighters in there that were entertaining. But then the last four matches were battles. They were wars, man. That was cool. That was good. That was good. And what a great crowd. Holy crap, that was a great crowd. That was a lot of fun. I was impressed with the crowd. Saturday night, I froze my ass off watching Marshall Tucker and Kansas. Both both friends of the program, or myself, whatever you want to look at it. But I was going back and forth with the boys from Kansas and Marshall Tucker and Doug Gray and company. I thought Doug Gray's band did an excellent job, man. They were jamming, and Kansas. Man, this version of Kansas still sounds phenomenal, man. Ronnie Platt, I can't say enough about Ronnie Platt and his singing. And I know Steve Walsh is awesome, always will be awesome, but Platt does an incredible job maintaining the real Kansas feel that you get. You know what I'm saying? And I really, really enjoyed the concert on Saturday. Freezing my ass off. Holy crap. Just watching a concert outside is, in cold weather for a Florida boy like me, man, my blood is way too thin to do that, man. Way too damn thin. By the way, you can make a donation to the program through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. If you want to make a donation through Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. Trading Welker was a stupid trade. Well, he wasn't going to be what he was in New England here in Miami. Okay? So don't kid yourself. Either way, they weren't going to benefit from it. It might have ended up worse with Welker here. And for him, at least, he got himself one hell of a career. Maybe, I don't think he'll make it to the Hall of Fame, but he'll be that guy that's, borderline people talk about it and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but it's one of those things. He had himself one hell of a career, man. Good for him. I just hope health-wise he's all right, because he took some brutal hits, dude. Brutal hits. Marcelo says, Big O, you may have spoken about this, but what about McDaniel makes him different from Philbin, or what makes him hiring the first-time coach different from the previous three? Hashtag insanity. Thanks. Marcelo, I would tell you to rewind and listen to the first out, especially the first, say, 35 minutes. There's a pretty in-depth conversation there about what's going on with the Dolphins and the changes and the comparisons and all of those things. You may want to rewind there, okay? I don't do, they over on regular radio, they repeat everything, and obviously that's the dumbest thing you can do in this world. It's about content. And so I've already put that forward. You can actually check it out. We've got to move ahead, but it's all there, my brother. You can check it out, or you can wait for the podcast that I'm sure Sean will probably even, put a couple of those rants in there's 2 or 3 different rants in that first half hour there. He might end up putting up, and you can check them out also on YouTube or on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever it is that you listen to. Rob Manx says, can we say Mike McDaniel, the Dolphins' next coach? Rob, I think it's going to happen, man. I feel pretty good about it. I felt pretty good from last week that I told you Dable's number 1 target, and I guess they had a timetable, and they wanted to get through, the interviews, and I think McDaniel is their second target, and I think now that Dable's off the table, I think they're going to go in the McDaniel direction. I really believe that. It's kind of where I've been telling you from the get-go, right? That it was Dable, and then I told you McDaniel's the number two guy. So I think McDaniel is going to be your head coach. Frankie Fresco says, do you think Waddle will be better than Landry was? Oh, yeah. He's got that other gear that Landry never had. That's why I was never about paying Landry number 1 money, because he was not a number 1 receiver at no time. He never had the kind of jets you need to be a number 1 wide receiver. He's a fantastic slot receiver. That he is. He's a physical, menace. But I would not ever label him a number 1. All right. Number 1 is down. Our number 1 is down. In hour number 2, Manny Navarro will join us. Let's take a break. Sean Stanley masters this program every single day. And if you want to get in, 855-912-1056. We can read your text on the other side. 855-912-1056. Hour number 2 is next.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
South Florida's premier law enforcement agency is now hiring individuals like you. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is now accepting applications for non-certified and certified police officer positions. Minimum requirements and qualifications can be found at flpdjobs.com. That's flpdjobs.com. Are you ready? The city of Fort Lauderdale is an equal opportunity employer.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. For over 25 years, South Floridians have counted on Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises for their roofing needs. In South Florida, we battle the sweltering heat, rain, winds, and all kinds of tropical storms. That's why when it comes to protecting your family, home, or business, call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com. 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs. All work fully guaranteed with the customer's complete satisfaction. A-plus rated member of the Better Business Bureau. Licensed and insured. There's no buts about it. When your roof needs repair or replacement, go to TommyBButtsJrEnterprises.com. A certified white mean contractor. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by HialeahParkCasino.com. Enjoy simulcast racing, dining, a magnificent poker room, and a casino with the most popular machines on the market. OKCoin.com. Download the app on iOS, Google Play, or Windows. OKCoin.com with over 50 different coins and incredible staking rewards. Pallet Rack City. There's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. Invest a little time and save big. Just set the recurring buy and pay, zero transaction fee after your first purchase. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Welcome back, folks. Appreciate all of you out there. By the way, just heard back from my guy, Jordan Schultz. And Jordan, for those of you that don't know, he has been an insider of, I don't know, you want to say NFL, NBA, all over the place. The Schultz Report on YouTube, if you want. And he's been with Yahoo and stuff. So he will join us tomorrow at 10:50. And he's the one that had the nuggets of Mike McDaniel telling Greer that he can unlock Tua and get the max out of him, and you know, the kind of offense that he wants to run. So we will have Jordan Schultz with us tomorrow at 10:50 to talk a little bit about that. So there you go, Dolphin fans. Have get a little insight on what Jordan is hearing around the league and hearing about Mike McDaniel and what he's hearing about the meeting with the Dolphins and Mike McDaniel. So Jordan Schultz will be joining us tomorrow at 10:50 here on the program as we constantly give you the best insight and the best sports talk by far here. Well, not here, just all over for South Florida sports anywhere in the world. Let's go. Big O really hates the new Dolphin logo. Yes, I really can't stand the new Dolphin logo. It is absolute dog crap. Yes. Now, Frank in Atlanta says, your point on collaboration makes sense, and this is on the text line at 855-912-1056. As always, very active. Thank you. We do our best to answer as many as we can because a lot of texts come in, 855-912-1056. Your point on collaboration makes sense, except that the Dolphins, and especially Ross, do everything in half-ass measure. If your ultimate goal as an organization is to work in harmony and achieve collaboration, does it make more sense to hire from the top down? By that, I mean clean house completely, bring in a general manager and let him hire a head coach, and then the GM surround himself with personnel people whose football philosophies align with his, instead of always having these shotgun weddings that ultimately result in failure. I know this is not a popular idea with you because you're a Chris Greer fan, but IMO, the approach I mentioned above seems more like logical. Well, wait a minute. Frank, are you paying attention to? They hired a general manager. He hired his people in personnel. He hired his coach. He fired his coach. He's replacing his coach. It's his coach. It's his personnel people. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but what you're talking about is exactly what's going on. Chris Greer's in charge. He screwed up, and he gave Flo the power. What did I say? He screwed up. He gave Flo the power like they gave Gase. Same thing. Greer did what Tannenbaum did with Gase. Well, now Greer learned that what Tannenbaum did and what he did, he screwed up. Do you think, whether it's Dable, and maybe that's why Dable wanted to work with the guy in the Giants, because he was going to be able to control more personnel. But here, I think they learned their lesson. Did I not say that? Have I not said that for a couple of months now on this very show? The only show in South Florida that can actually speak the truth about Dolphin football right here, because no one on any station in South Florida knows anything about Dolphins football. Okay? They have zero insight on what's going on. Zero. So we told you that they screwed up by giving him power. What do you think is happening now? I don't know, man, but somebody somehow, somebody fills you in on the stuff that's going on there, and, do whatever you want. Somebody told you Dable and then McDaniel, right? I don't know who told you that. Somebody told you Flo is going to get fired, right? I don't know who told you that. Somebody told you that they got too much power and that the next person should not have the power. I don't know, but that's where we're headed. So Frank in Atlanta, the GM's getting smarter. He's figuring things out as he's made his mistakes. And what have I told you guys for a while now? Rick Spielman made mistakes, but he was in the middle of a fight with everybody else. Probably should have kept him. Jeff Ireland did not handle things the right way. Hey, Des Bryant, is your mom a whore? But he's actually good at his job. Dennis Hickey had 2 pretty good drafts. Buffalo said, no, he can work. He can come work for us. Personnel has not been the issue here. Now, they all needed to learn a little bit and give them some time. That's what I'm going to do with this personnel department. And I give them credit for realizing what I see. Okay, you screwed up. You gave them too much power. You don't do that for the unproven. You bring them in as a coach. You let them prove themselves. And as the years go on that they prove themselves on the field, they can then walk into your personnel department and have a suggestion or two that you will accommodate because they've proven it on the field. But you keep hiring guys like Gase and Flo, who have not proven it as head coaches, and you're also going to give them personnel control. So Frank in Atlanta, you got what you wanted, dude. You may not like Chris Grier, okay, but the structure you want is what's in place. You may not notice it, but that's what's in place. And everything I've been telling you for months, it either is happening or then develops. Everything. There's not one thing I don't tell you that doesn't end up either happening or developing. Not one damn thing. Yeah. 855-912-1056 if you want to get in on the program. By the way, besides Jordan Schultz tomorrow on the show, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of the heads up, we will also have Cameron Wolf. So Cameron Wolf will be joining us along with Jordan Schultz tomorrow. So we got awesome lineup, and we'll probably add somebody else also on the show. So we'll keep working it like we always do for you guys. Love the show. I've been a fan since 71. He's talking about the Dolphins. I have not been on since 71. I've been on since 91. Okay. I just want to make sure John in Los Angeles doesn't label my old ass like super old. Okay. I've been a fan since 71, and the clickbait fans are driving me crazy. There's no patience and little knowledge in the fan base. Everyone is trying to be a fantasy GM. That's not how it works, John in Los Angeles. I'm with you, John. But you know what it is, John? You can't blame Dolphin fans, bro. We've been suffering for so long. The desperation sets in. The craziness sets in. The crazy suggestions set in. You can't blame them, bro. We can agree, we can disagree, and all that stuff, and have some fun with each other, and say you're crazy. No, I'm crazy. No, you're crazy. No, you're out of your mind. But it's tough, man. It's tough being us. It's tough being us. Antonio Abraham says John Harbaugh would be perfect. He would help Tua develop and put together an offensive line and would be in full control. That's the question. Yeah, no, I mean, he's been so awesome at Michigan, bro. Those offenses, Antonio in Michigan, they were diverse. They were explosive. They were very modern at Michigan, their offenses, dude. No, you're right, Antonio. Yeah, no, everything I saw there was amazing. You're right. So fantastic. Let's see. Big O Ross made a big deal behind the scenes for Harbaugh. Brother, why do you think he fired B-Flow so fast and left Grier? Grier will be the next to be canned, my man. By tomorrow, Dolphins will make it official. First of all, T-Bone, Grier fired Flo, not Ross. Ross just approves the move. But, let's not, facts. And so they'll fire Grier tomorrow. Okay. So you're the guy that thought Trump was going to take over in last August. You're that guy too, T-Bone? Some of you are just absolutely ridiculous. Seriously. Rick Kyle, I think the only thing stumbling block to Harbaugh is the control issue. McDaniel is the hire if the issue is keeping personnel decisions, etc. in the front office. No, it's not, Rick. No, it's not. But, I mean, listen, what am I going to do? Convince you? You're going to think whatever the hell you want to think. If that's what you want to think, you can go ahead and think that. Let's see. What else do we have? Stirred T. Our O-line can block in the right scheme, not RPO. Move to traditional, and they aren't the 32nd ranked. Yeah, the O-line needs to be coached up, my brother. Doesn't matter what you run. They're not good enough. Don't kid yourself. I don't even know why you would even try to convince yourselves that they're good. There's nothing about that line that was good at all. It's a terribly coached line. They weren't prepared ever. Just terrible, terrible coaches. This is the worst offensive staff I have ever seen in my entire life. Okay? Brian Flores built the worst offensive staff ever. Some of these guys might become decent coaches 10, 15, 20 years from now. But right now, terrible coaches. Terrible. The key as a fan is to be able to trust your organization enough to think that they can make better decisions than you would. As a fan, I have feelings, but theirs count more. It's their job. Yeah, no, but I and that's that's the definition of the Heat, right? The Heat, you can even disagree at times, but you respect them because they do so well overall that, hey man, you never know. What do we got going on, Sean? What do you got?
Well, I just found one thing interesting. Ben Gosling, who's with the Vikings beat, is reporting that Jim Harbaugh will interview with the Vikings tomorrow.
Second interview.
I'm guessing it doesn't say second; it just says
No.
will.
No, I'm telling you.
Oh, okay.
It's the second interview with the Vikings.
But the interesting thing is, do you know what tomorrow is?
Tomorrow's signing day, bro.
Tomorrow is National Signing Day, and Harbaugh will be doing a second interview with the Minnesota Vikings.
You know what a dick move that is? That's why I enlightened a lot of people yesterday, I guess, on Doug's show. And I guess I don't know, maybe I didn't mention it here. Maybe I did. So Stephen Ross loves Michigan. So is he going to hire the guy away from Michigan in the middle of the recruiting period? As I told you yesterday, if Harbaugh was going to leave, he had to leave the second the game was done and he got eliminated. The next day, he says, Michigan, thank you for everything. I love you all, Big Blue, but I'm off and I'm going to the NFL. And then you open up the doors to everybody, and that's it. But now you wait till this moment when you're on the brink of recruits and he's got a top 10 class. It's a dick move, man. And then if Stephen Ross signs away Harbaugh, not just from Michigan, but from Michigan in the middle of the recruiting period, Ross is not going to be a part of any of that, dude. None of that. Because he knows that that would not be a good look for him and his Michigan fans. Now, listen, I those of you out there that think Harbaugh is the answer, then you're butthurt or whatever. I don't give a rat's ass. I think Harbaugh is a disaster. And I want the Vikings to hire him because I want to watch the disaster. I watched it there in Michigan. What he got, I guess in Stanford, he was in an easy conference and he got lucky that he had a hell of a quarterback. And in San Francisco, 2 GMs went on a roll and loaded that team up, free agent, and especially in the draft. Forget it. So, whatever. But some of you out there, you can go ahead and have some fun. But this is a really bad move by Harbaugh. Like incredibly irresponsible to do it at this point in time. If I'm Michigan, I'm firing him. To be honest, you've put up with that clown. He's been an underachiever forever. And he came up with one good season, and now he's doing this? Get the hell out of here, man. You know, I if I'm Michigan, I'm pissed, dude. Pissed. And if he's doing this for more money, that's what I'm telling him. There's the American bird. You're not getting any more money from us. You play under this contract, you coach under this contract, or that's it. But you're not going to hold us hostage after you've been an underachiever and you came up with one good season. Go do it a couple more times and then come back to us. I find this to be as distasteful as possible for a college coach to be doing that. And after everything Michigan's done for him, this is how he rewards them. I find it classless. And Stephen Ross might be smart enough to realize, like, this would not be a good move for me to take him now. If I was going to do it, I should have done it, if he would have declared a while back, then I have no choice. But now, in the middle of the recruiting period, no. Let Minnesota do that, not me. Corn, Iowa Productions. Has any college coach signed an NFL contract during National Signing Day before? I'm not sure. Remember the Pittsburgh coach that took the job and then went to Arizona, I think it was? He was a Class A jerkball. I forgot the guy. He's still bouncing around, but it wasn't an NFL team. He left one school to another, and I'm not exactly sure if it was in the signing period or not or something. Was it Todd Grantham? Was that the guy's name? Can you look it up for me, Sean? Pittsburgh coach leaves for Arizona. I want to say Todd Grantham was the guy's name, if I remember correctly. I mean, I got a lot of crap in my head and remember stupid little things like that. But anyway, and it was a really jerk move on his part. I remember that. But I don't remember any college coach signing a contract on that. Now, it's not to say it hasn't happened. I'm not sure. But I don't remember it.
Todd Graham.
Wow. That's pretty good, bro. I said Graham. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. What year was that? I want to say, I'm going to guess that was 10 years ago. Let's see. How close am I, Sean?
11. No, well, it was December 2011 was when the story was.
Okay, well, 11 years ago. I mean, well, I see what you're saying. It's kind of because we just crossed. So, yeah, it's actually closer to 10. Hey, how about that? How I remember some of this stuff, I have no idea. Like zero. How I remember all this stuff. Don't know. It's stuck in there somehow. It's in these files. There's a lot of stuff in these files here. Half a century of files, and they're still working. So it's pretty good. Yeah, Graham was with UF last year and got fired. Not surprised. But that was just a jerk move. You know what I mean? So, looks like Finns really didn't have a plan when they rightfully fired Flo. Very disappointing. Well, what plan do you want, bro? Who says they don't have a plan? I don't understand that. They fired Flo. They're in the process of replacing the coach. They kept the defensive staff in place. They feel they have their quarterback. They feel they've got to get an offensive mind to bring the balance. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Where isn't there a plan? Why is it that some of you make up a narrative that doesn't exist? I don't understand that. Why? Because they don't hire what you want, so they don't have a plan? Why? Because they're not going at the speed you want? And by the way, the plan wasn't to fire your head coach, but they had no choice. So that's what you got to do. You got to adjust. So you fire the head coach, and now you're going through the process. I'm not exactly sure what plan you're talking about. Some of you say stuff, and you pull it out of your ass, and you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. It's really amazing. They didn't have a plan. Who says that? What says they're not going according to plan? Antonio Matos says, nice to meet you, Big O, on Friday night. Nice to meet you, my brother. SoCal Derek says, great content, Big O. Love your Tua takes. Thank you. Greater Good says, how much money would Harbaugh cost the Dolphins? Zero, because they're not hiring him. So Greater Good, stop with the mental masturbation. He's not part of the mix. Enough already. Big O, my concern about McDaniel is can he be a leader of men? He's a Yale nerd who has never worn a jockstrap. So, does that mean? Does that mean you can't coach? You can't be a top-notch guy because you haven't played the game at the highest level? It's ridiculous. Plenty of guys that coached never played in college at a high level and certainly never even sniffed the NFL. They might have played high school. They might have played a little Division III. They may not have played even Division III and only high school. You never know. Harbaugh had to take a pay cut this year from $8 million to $4 million. He owes no loyalty to Michigan. Would you take a pay cut like that and not look for another gig? Well, Pat, he deserved to take a pay cut. I disagree with you on that. I think that's a terrible take on your part, Pat. He stole money for 6 other years. He had to give some money back, my brother. They took those kids to Europe. They spent all kinds of money for him, dude. I disagree with you, man. I think Jim Harbaugh is an ungrateful bastard. He took a pay cut that he should have taken. He sucks. He's been embarrassed by Ohio State and Michigan State every time, dude. This is the one year that he had success against them. So I could not disagree with you more, Pat. He should have worked for free this year, Pat. No. Wait a minute. He should pay back half the salary he's made the first 5 years to be able to coach this year. That's how much he has stolen money from Michigan in that stretch. Dude, I could not disagree with you more. You cannot reward people for being crappy. And that's what they were rewarding Jim Harbaugh for. I mean, do we need to let's go over the records of Jim Harbaugh at Michigan. Oh, Pat in Asheville, you got me started now. Where are we at here? Let's check out Jim Harbaugh at Michigan. Okay? Let's go with good old Jimmy Harbaugh. Let's go with his coaching records. That's pros. Let's go to college. 2-4 last year. 9-4, 6-3 in the conference, 3rd in the East. 10-3, 8-1, tied for 1st in the East. 8-5, 5-4 in the conference. 10-3, 7-2 in the conference, 3rd in the East. 10-3, 6-2 in the conference, 3rd in the East. Losses in the Orange Bowl, Citrus Bowl, Peach Bowl, Outback Bowl, Orange Bowl, won the Citrus. The guy is 1-5 in bowl games. Okay? He's 42-17 in the Big Ten. 42-17. That's bad, man. That's bad. He's had 2 years in 7 where he's lost only 1 game in the conference. Every other years are 2, 3, and 4 losses in the conference. My brother, Jim Harbaugh has been stealing money without a gun and a mask for several years. And by the way, best resources in the country. All right? 0 excuses at Michigan. Best resources, and he's been as mediocre as it gets. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's get ready for Manny Navarro and our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro. Exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All righty. All right. By the way, Manny, I heard that Mario Cristobal is about to take an NFL job right on signing day. Is that true also? Because that would be a real class move by any coach.
Hey, man.
Seriously, isn't that a major dick move by Harbaugh? He's been stealing money for years. Finally came up with a decent season. He's been getting his ass kicked and handed to him by Ohio State and Michigan State for years. He should have decided to leave the day he got eliminated from the playoffs. The next day say, hey, I'm thinking of the NFL. To do it now? And this is the part that the Dolphin fans don't get. If Ross does this even now, it's even worse in Michigan's eyes.
Of course.
Because not only are you taking Harbaugh, you're taking him during the signing period where reportedly they've got a top 10 class overall. So I'm looking at that. I'm going, can you imagine Ross signing Harbaugh away during signing day of Michigan? Oh my God. That's
that's gonna piss a lot of people off in Michigan, certainly. But
he won't be able to show up again. He won't be able to show up again. Period.
No.
He won't be able to.
Well, that's why all this kind of stuff, as far as college coaches moving around, you usually don't hear too much of this happening until after signing day, because contractually they try to leave on good terms, and that means leaving after signing day because you've sort of fulfilled your duties, right, for that whole year. But hey, man, it's business is business, right? I mean, it's a cutthroat world now, and guys like Jim Harbaugh and all these coaches, man, they're just looking for the big payday and the next opportunity, and it's the way it is.
All right, talk to me. Shamar Stewart, Mason Thomas, Ahmed Moten, Matt McCoy. Give me some words. What's the word?
Yeah, well, I mean, you do these recruiting weekends, everybody goes and they have fun, right? And then they go back home and it's time to make a decision. So that's what the last 24 to 48 hours is going to be like, right up to signing day. And, I don't want to disappoint Miami fans and say it's going to be a bad day tomorrow, but my gut tells me that, I don't think they're going to end up getting Shamar Stewart. I think he's going to end up going to Texas A&M, which if you sit back and look at it from a general college football fan perspective, not through Miami eyes, Texas A&M has basically been his leader from Jump Street. They've had him there on campus more than any other school. Miami just added Mario Cristobal in December, and while Miami's the hometown team, this is a kid that is nationally recruited. He's a top 10 recruit in the country overall, 5-star kid. So do I have any intel saying for sure he's not coming to Miami? No. It's just more of a gut feeling and more of a conversations that I've had behind the scenes with people at Miami that, they knew that they were playing catch up with Texas A&M. So if he doesn't pick Miami, I don't think anybody over there is going to be surprised. They'll certainly be disappointed.
So what's the NIL deal he's got over there and why he's going there? Huh? And why isn't our crazy billionaire giving him something even sweeter?
Well, I don't want to give away all my inside information, but from my understanding, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I think it's pretty even between Miami and Texas A&M. So I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, I mean, listen,
so he's gonna be an Aggie, and it's even. If it's even, he's going to be an Aggie.
That's my gut feeling. Now, that's not to say that within the next 24 hours, Grandma doesn't sit there and says, I really love to see you play, and be able to go to your games and be close by. But for this kid, as much as I've talked to him here in the past couple of weeks, and Mo Marquez,
he's raised by Grandma.
He's raised primarily by Grandma in Miramar.
Okay. So I was gonna ask you. Ask him if his mom named him Shamar because she loves Shamar Moore, the actor. Because it's
very well could be.
I guess it's almost like since Shamar has come on the scene, the women have obviously gone crazy, and so I'm every time I see a young kid named Shamar, I'm thinking
you know, his mom was thinking Shamar in bed and then named him Shamar. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, you know what I'm saying? Because the ladies are all thinking Shamar. And so it's just, I'm just, so when you see him say, hey, was your mom a Shamar Moore fan? And that's why your name is Shamar. Just, you got to ask him that. I got to ask him that if I see him one day. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Well,
go ahead.
I'll be at his announcement tomorrow. It's at 1:30 over there at Pace High School, and there'll be
All
a lot
right,
of
so you
people
know what
there
to ask him. All right, you know what to
I
ask
will.
him.
That's going to be my first question.
No, at the end.
I'm going to find his mom. That'll be the first question I ask her.
Cringe. Don't do a cringe used to do to us. In you remember cringe? You remember cringe?
I remember the stories. Go ahead.
Cringe was classic. I mean, cringe we would have a Heat game, right? And we'd all gather around Tim Hardaway, and Hardaway had 31 points, 10 assists, 2 steals. You know, Hardaway's in a great mood. He's looking at his stat sheet going, I'm over 2.5 to 1 in assist to turnover ratio. I'm on the fat scale. I'm doing good. Riley's going to pay me my money, you know, that kind of stuff. And here comes cringe. First question. So give us a preview of the Atlanta Hawks. And there's like Tim Hardaway, like, yo, man, come to practice tomorrow and ask me about the Hawks. We just played the Lakers right now and beat their ass. You know, it's like, you know, it was one of those. Cringe had the worst questions at the worst times, and that would be a cringe one too.
Hey, listen, there's always a cringe around somewhere. I feel like that guy still exists.
You guys have a cringe? You have a cringe?
Oh man, there's always those cringy moments for sure. There's always those cringy moments. A lot of people posing as journalists nowadays, Big O. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's right. I forgot. But it's changed since I don't do the beat stuff anymore. That's right. That's right. I've been
a lot of pretenders out there
for over 10 years. So yeah, there's the world has changed. You're right. You're right. I got a website. I'm a media guy. Yeah. Exactly. No, I know what you're saying.
But listen, I think tomorrow, more likely than not, I wrote this for The Athletic today, that I think it's probably a couple of offensive linemen. If you get lucky, Shamar Stewart says yes, he's going to come here. And then maybe one of the Cardinal Gibbons kids. I think the Moton kid, the defensive tackle whose brother played at Miami previously, I think he's had a relationship with Miami's defensive line coach Joe Salavea from Oregon, because they recruited him to Oregon. Okay. So they know him a little better. Moton is a kid that Miami really wasn't on at all until Mario took over. Again, this is the one thing I'll say, you know, for people who are going to be negative tomorrow or say, oh, Mario still hasn't hired a coordinator. And, oh, look, he lost the wide receiver coach of Georgia. And look, oh, you know, everybody's ready to jump down the Miami coach, right, the moment there's any sign of struggle, because they're paying as much money as they are. But I'll say this, it's hard for any coach to come in a month, you know, right before the early signing period, and then, you know, a month or two before, and load up on guys when you have to sort of reestablish these relationships with kids. And a lot of times, a lot of these kids, like Dave Iuli, for instance, the kid that was committed to Oregon, they go on the last recruiting trip, right? He ends up going to Oregon this past weekend. All of a sudden, he's like, you know what? I live in Washington. Do I really want to fly all the way to Miami to play? And my parents are going to fly all the way across country to come watch me play. So that's the kind of stuff that ends up happening a lot, you know, especially the kids in February, even though they take the extra time to make a decision and they want to take all these extra visits. A lot of times, if you see a pattern where a kid, their last official visit is to go to the nearby home school, that can be trouble for whatever schools are trying to pull them out of state. And Iuli is another kid that Miami was on, a 4-star offensive lineman from Washington, as I said, that I think at this point, Miami felt really confident a week ago. Now a little less confident because he ended up visiting Oregon where he was committed before. So yes, Mario had a previous relationship with him and the whole thing. But again, you know, for all these kids, there's different factors to play in. And sometimes it's hard for the new coach that first year to have the kind of impact he wants. I think without question, Miami's going to have a tremendous 2023 signing class. I think Miami will be top 5, but tomorrow may be an unspectacular day for the Hurricanes if they don't get Shamar Stewart.
All right. So, but let me ask you the concerns with the coordinators. Like, what are the delays, bro? Like, why haven't you hired a damn coordinators already? And like Ken Dorsey, you know, they're talking that he's going to go to the Giants with this guy. Why not? We'll get him and bring him here. I don't know. Maybe he's not much of a recruiter. I don't know.
I think a lot of these guys, and you know, there's kind of 2 layers to this. One, I think Mario has taken a long time interviewing people. He's interviewed a lot of people, right, for both sides of the ball. He's kind of put out feelers. He's kind of said, well, if I go down this path, this is what I'm going to do. If I go down this path, this is what I'm going to do. He's interviewed a lot of people this time around, and maybe this speeds up the process in a year or two when he has to replace the coordinator because they leave or whatever. But I think he's taken a long time with this, and he's been very picky in my mind. I think he's been very picky, and I think there's been some guys that ultimately have said the other layer to it is they don't want to coach in college. There's a lot of college coaches who look at the situation now with NIL and the transfer portal and like, you know what? In the NFL, there's only 32 teams, right? There's only 53 spots on a roster. Guys are going to stay with the team they're supposed to stay with.
They're locked in.
They're locked in. And college, look at all these kids. Look at how many kids are in the transfer portal. Look at how many kids are and the recruiting aspect of it, the kissing the kids' asses, the way that they have to kiss these kids' asses nowadays, and mama and Uncle Joe and a lot of these guys are like, why do this? Why go through this process when at least in the pros there's a professional mindset? These guys know there's money coming in. I have to feed my family. I'm going to do what this guy asks me to do.
All right.
So that's the explanation I got for you, bro. I hope it's a good one for the listeners. I hope
I get it. It's just kind of weird that you're coming up to signing day and you would figure you would use the coordinators as extra tools to go recruit.
Well, I think
those are two less people you have now out on the streets recruiting for you and specifically representing what you're going to identify as on the field. You don't have the two individuals that are going to talk about what I'm running on an offense, what I'm running on a defense, and how you fit young man into this scheme and that, and how I envision you. You don't have that. You don't have that guy.
No, and of course it's a hindrance, right? I mean, in a perfect world, Mario would have come in and within 2 weeks, hired the coordinators and had a perfect plan in place. But this is the other aspect people don't want to hear because, we're Miami, we're spending money. Again, aside from the fact that the NFL guys, a lot of guys don't want to coach in college, this is a tough place to coach too, man. The expectations are through the roof now, right? With how much money they're spending.
As we've said, what he did in Oregon is not good enough here.
Right. Exactly.
It's amazing. You got a job to do something even better than what you did in your other job.
Right. It's a pressure cooker, man. This place is a pressure cooker. And if you come here and you fail, it sets you back a couple years. You go back to being a position coach somewhere or a coordinator at a G5 school or something of that nature.
Right.
And again, it takes the right guys. I think Mario is being very deliberate. Has it hurt him? Can we say it's hurt him? Maybe. But we really don't know because if he signs two great coordinators next month or later this month, and Miami ends up winning the ACC, we're just going to say, well, he took a long time.
Right.
But he got the job done. So it's too early to handicap and say whether or not this really hurts the program. I think here's something to know. Okay. Even if you don't have, Miami lost Brian McClendon to Georgia, the receivers coach. Even if you don't have staff, assistant coaches per se, you can put recruiting guys out on the field and other staffers, quality control people. And a lot of these guys are young, hungry guys that are trying to prove themselves. Yes, they don't have the cachet of the coordinator, but a lot of times these are the guys that call the high school recruits anyway and talk to the recruits anyway. They're the ones who really have the relationships. The assistant coaches come in when they have time to deal with them. But for the most part, it's the DeMarcus Van Dykes and the Edwin Patas and all the younger guys that are on the staff that are basically handling the day-to-day operation recruiting. So I don't think it hurts Miami in the recruiting front as much as maybe it might be perceived. I think ultimately a guy like Shamar Stewart would love to know who his defensive coordinator is, but he's going to pick Miami or Texas A&M probably for a lot of other reasons.
Yeah, money. All right. Any other news outside of the coaching and recruiting that we should know about?
I'm trying to think. Is there anything left? Oh, the schedule came out yesterday, right? The ACC schedules. Miami's got Clemson the next to last game of the regular season. They close with Pittsburgh. It's going to be an interesting finish to the season, right? I mean, usually
Pittsburgh lost their QB, so
right, but they picked up
a little bit of a transition for them.
But they picked up Slovis, who is that USC transfer. We'll see how good he ends up being if he ends up filling in the way that they have. But and Clemson. I know that they still won 10 games last year, right? And they still have probably the most
better they actually got better as the year went on.
Right. And they got one of the best freshman quarterbacks in the country coming over there, maybe the best high school quarterback in the country coming in. And we saw what Trevor Lawrence did as a freshman, right? It could happen again with this kid that they picked up from Texas. So I think, those last 2 games are going to be tough. But otherwise, it's a pretty balanced schedule. Like, you don't have major monsters back to back to back. I think you look at it from that perspective, that's a good thing. You don't want to have all your best teams like 3 in a row. You want them sort of spread out.
With you there. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. More importantly, subscribe to The Athletic, baby, so you can get that wall-to-wall coverage and catch him twice a week here with our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. Friday, by the way, we will be at Caneswear. So if you happen to be in the neighborhood for your Friday report, come on by and hang out for a couple minutes.
Sounds good.
All right, man.
You
got it. Thank you, Manny. Appreciate you.
Take care, man.
You got it. There you go. Manny Navarro and our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right, we are back. There we are. Eves, baby. American Dream Lending. Come on, folks, before the rates go up, make sure you call Eves. All right. And all the time we give you his personal cell number so you can actually reach out to him whenever the hell you want. And you got questions, you're stuck in traffic this afternoon, and you want to maybe refinance your home and lower the interest rate and do it right now because we're still at historic lows. So 305-992-5218. That's it right there. American Dream Lending. Big decision if you're buying a home or condo. Call American Dream Lending, or if you want to refinance or consolidate those damn bills. Remember, we're going to have, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm expecting that things might get a little ugly later on in the year, third, fourth quarters with inflation and stuff like that. So be careful if that does happen and the rates are going to go up. You may want to eliminate the bills now as much as possible and lower that overall payment that you've got to make a month. So call Eves, man. All right, 305-992-5218. Tell them that we sent you. I promise you, great people. Best thing about Eves, he will eliminate the V and make it a yes. That's what you're going to get from him. By the way, for what's it called? For Ray put out there, can anybody say that Harbaugh has the best resume out there? He says, can anyone deny Harbaugh has the best resume as an NFL coach? I can, Ray. I can say I'm not impressed with what Harbaugh did in San Francisco when that roster was incredibly loaded. Now, I look at Jim Caldwell, and he has 3 winning seasons in 4 years in Detroit and makes the playoffs twice. I'm impressed. And I'm more impressed that the Baltimore Ravens season was going down the drain, and in week 11, they fired Cam Cameron, and they named Jim Caldwell the offensive coordinator. And from there on out, Baltimore took off. The defense was a middling defense, middle of the league ranking. Ray Lewis was not special anymore. Okay, he was over the hill at that point, and so were a lot of the players on that defense. That defense wasn't special. Carried by the offense and Jim Caldwell, Joe Flacco played like he never played again in his life. 11 touchdowns and no interceptions, and he led the way. And then he took over for Dungy, and they went like 15-1 or 14-2. So I actually would disagree with you because I've seen Jim Caldwell in 3 different scenarios and succeed. Way more impressive than Jim Harbaugh. So disagree with you, because Jim Harbaugh didn't lead Jack to a title. Without Jim Caldwell, the Baltimore Ravens do not win their second Super Bowl. Those are the facts, Ray. I can't say that Jim Harbaugh was the difference in a Super Bowl win as a coach. Can I? Can you? But I can. I can say Jim Caldwell was the difference in a Super Bowl victory for the Baltimore Ravens. So disagree with you, my brother. All right. I will go with Jim Caldwell with the best resume that's out there as an NFL coach. Proven, accomplished, actually won 2 titles, one with the Colts and one with the Ravens. But, let's leave the facts out, So I'm just saying. There you go. Jim Caldwell over Jim Harbaugh 800 times over a week. Jeff Hollow says, talk to me about X Howard. Is this guy the future potential Hall of Famer if Finns may not keep him? Jeff, you listen to the show? I've been telling you for a year he'll be traded, and he'll be traded this offseason. He's gone. David Triana, if McDaniel is hired, what excites you most about what he could bring to the Dolphins? I also really like how they're going with the polar opposite of Flo. I'm sure the media appreciates it too. What I like is that he has a chance of fixing the offense. You know what I also like about hiring McDaniel? If they do hire McDaniel, he wants to work with Tua. Wow, what a concept. You ever seen the man that didn't want the baby? He got the woman pregnant and didn't want the baby. How's that relationship working out? Doesn't work out very well, right? Well, it wasn't ever going to work out with Flo and Tua. So if you're going to make it work with Tua, you got to find somebody that, like Saban, can work with Tua. Right? So you got a guy that's willing to work with Tua and knows how to maximize him, then let's do it. Let's rock. That's all I want. All I want is to see Tua get a fair shot to find out if he can be a good quarterback. And if he can, he'll do it. And if he can't, we'll move on. It's not like it's not the first failed quarterback for us. Okay? All right? We've gone through them all, from Culpepper to A.J. Feely to you name it, and so on and so forth. So we've done it all. Pat White and Tannehill and you name it. So we add another one to the mix. But at least I'd like to find out if he can play or not. And that's what I'm excited about. That Mike McDaniel will come in wanting to coach him. Mike McDaniel will come in trying to make him successful. And then the front office will work with him in trying to be successful. And if they're not, then they've got to correct the issue or they're all going to get fired or whatever. But at least try it. That's all. Let's find out if you can get it done. So that's what I'm excited about. And you've got a real offensive mind. So let's see if he can figure it all out. Ray says, I like Caldwell. Unfortunately, they aren't talking to him. I was talking about the other Dolphin. Ray, Harbaugh's not a finalist, dude. Are you now saying he's a finalist? Are you creating the narrative that doesn't exist? I'm not a real fan of that on this show. I wonder about some of you out there. What is wrong with some of you? Like, he's not a finalist. So neither is Jim Caldwell. But you said who has the best resume. And Jim Caldwell has the best resume, not Jim Harbaugh. And I'm not sure what your convenience is. He's not a finalist. So why is Harbaugh in your conversation and not Caldwell? And what is wrong with you, by the way? JP on Sports. Harbaugh is only a finalist because people think if they wish it to be existence, it will be. See, there you go. This is why we kept this JP and not the other one. It's like it's like I'm making up Jim Harbaugh as a finalist. But no, don't bring up Jim Caldwell, because he's not a finalist. But Jim Harbaugh in my fantasy is. Oh, I'm sorry. Ray is picking the Dolphin coach in the metaverse. Oh, I get it now, Ray. You entered Decentraland, and, they've got a make-believe NFL world. And in your make-believe NFL world, Mr. Khakis is a finalist. Okay. I got it. It's a metaverse pick. Okay. There you go. I just want you to know, Ray, that when you are getting laid in the metaverse, you're really not getting laid. Just want you to know that. Let's see. People just say whatever and think it is so. No, I know. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's like, no, let me just make shit up. Well, Caldwell isn't a finalist, but Harbaugh is. Why? Because some newspaper guy wrote it? Somebody locally in the Herald or the Sun Sentinel or the Palm Beach Post wrote it? Did you hear it? Did you hear more misinformation on the local radio stations or something? I'm not sure. Because I know they have no idea what's going on, so they'll talk just crap on the air. There is no substance. They can't really do like real sports talk like what we do here on this show. Not sure. What are you listening to, Ray? Good JP, evil JP got excommunicado. That's right. We threw him out from the what's the name of that hotel? Not the Contemporary, not the Cosmopolitan, not the Continental. We kicked his ass out. We kicked JP out of the Continental. He's been excommunicado. See, that's a recent reference I have that I can use the John Wick references. That's the tough part about being a talk show host. Trying to update all your references. And you try to watch stuff that goes on in today's world and all that to keep up with pop culture, which, by the way, I know nothing about Emily in Paris. My wife and my daughter have watched it. They know all about it. But even not knowing anything about Emily in Paris, can I just say Peyton Manning's skit on Saturday Night Live this weekend was just awesome. Okay? When he diagrammed that whole thing. And luckily, I had my wife next to me. By the way, let me finish first this. I had my wife next to me, so she explained everything after Peyton did it. You know what I mean? But it was still funny, even not knowing anything about Emily in Paris. It was still funny. It was good. It was good. Peyton's got a skill, man. He's got a skill. By the way, can I mention something to folks out there? I'm just, because I'm a big YouTube watcher. I can watch YouTube for hours. And, they've got news and all kinds of stuff and sports and music and pop culture and concerts and you name it. There's anything and everything. Okay. You want to build a cabinet, you can do it on YouTube, right? I'm just asking. Okay. I don't watch Saturday Night Live anymore live. I don't even go back on YouTube TV after it's recorded and go through it. You know what I do? I watch the segments on YouTube, period, that are just put out there. And so the algorithm, since they know I like to watch it, it'll come up every week. And so since they segment it like what we do on our show, you know what I mean? Because it's what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? This is how you're supposed to do things because that's how people watch. And it's funny because I have people sometimes ask, hey, man, can you just put the whole show? And I go, well, that's not how people all watch or listen, dude. Some people just want to listen to one interview or one segment or one rant or whatever. And that's how it is. It's got to be either a la carte or all of it together or whatever. So we put it all out so people can chew up the show however they want. It's kind of the way it is. And that's how I watch Saturday Night Live. So I don't know. There's a bunch of you right now on the chat board. I don't know how many of you still watch Saturday Night Live, because that's also a thing, because a lot of people don't watch it. This week actually had with William Dafoe. It was excellent. There were several really good segments with Dafoe. And that's how I watch Saturday Night Live. So I'm wondering, am I like, I can't be the weirdo, because if they're doing it, that means other people are doing it. But it's so convenient, because if the segment's bad, boom, I'm out of it right away. And I just find another segment. Any of you do that? Is that how you watch Saturday Night Live now on YouTube, segmented? Scotty, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. He says McDaniel's coaching tree has had a knack for building good coaching staffs and were well represented in the playoffs. I understand their interest. I also understand, because they need an offensive mind that understands how to maximize Tua's talent. And maybe they feel that this young man can do it. Okay. Thomas Jensen says, I say spit it right down the middle and hire Del Rio, and everyone, including Big O, will be happy. Del Rio still could end up coming here as a consultant, maybe as a assistant head coach type of thing, kind of help overlook things. You never know. Greater Good says maybe Ross is pissed at Harbaugh for doing Michigan wrong. Michigan is Ross's true love, not Harbaugh. Greater Good, I can't argue that. I can argue with people and tell them Harbaugh's not in the mix. Okay? Reporters, writers, radio people, fans, I can argue with all of them and tell them, hey, dude, from everything I'm hearing, Harbaugh's not in the mix. That I can argue, but I can't argue that one right there. That's a good one. It's a good one. Maybe Ross also is thinking what I'm thinking, like, yo, dude, now you're going to do it in the middle of the recruiting? That's not cool. And that may turn him off on Harbaugh. But it's funny, because he goes to recruit Harbaugh when he has a coach. So he really can't get pissed at Harbaugh for doing the uncool thing, because he was doing it to Tony Sparano. Eric Storm says SNL has been decent last couple of years. Not great, like back when they had Dana Carvey and Mike Myers. It'll never be that again, but still decent, though. No, you're right. The years, even, the Eddie Murphy years, the Dana Carvey years, the original years, obviously, with Jane Curtin and Bill Murray and all those people, obviously, that's, yeah. No, I'm with you. I record SNL on DirecTV and speed through the commercials. Let's see. Big O, can you give your opinion on possibly 49ers offensive players coming to help teach playbook? Not yet, sir. I haven't even gotten into that. I don't even know what's available, and I don't know what they're going to lose. I'd have to look at it first. You could post. Let me see. Camflow says, my girlfriend likes SNL, but it's kind of sucks these days. Mostly, you could post the entire stream alongside the clips. Some people like the long stream is there. No, we put the whole. That's the most popular one, the complete one. But people love to just have the segments, man. They love it. I'm telling you, we get the response. We see it. People tell us they love it. You'll get a couple complaints, but overall, people freaking love how we cut up the show, because it's super convenient for them. If they only want to hear a rant about the Heat, then they just hit it. Only about the Panthers, only about the Marlins, or only about the Dolphins, they can do that. Or if they only want to hear the Omar Kelly interview, or the Cameron Wolf interview, or the Marcel interview, whatever. It's or Manny Navarro today. They get to do that, and they don't have to find it or anything. People love them, and they love convenience. And so we have to work a little extra to make it super convenient for our subscribers, our supporters. So they're the ones that drive the show, man. You guys tell me overall what to do. And, if it seems like it's the popular thing, I end up doing it. Or shall I say, we end up doing it, because Sean is my partner in crime on all of this. USEC Juice 31, you're new. And thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. He says, I really hope we can acquire Calvin Ridley from the Falcons and an O-line. Tua in his third year will be exciting. Yusek, here's where I'm going to disagree with you, my buddy. I want you to draft a wide receiver. I don't want you to trade for the wide receiver. I want you to draft the running back. I don't want you to trade for the running back. And I want you to sign the offensive lineman in free agency, possibly trade if you have to. But you can find in the draft, like they did with Waddle, a receiver. You can find a running back. It's just Flo didn't want to draft one early in the first couple of years here. So they're going to be able to replace that, and you'll get them cheaper for the first 4 to 5 years. Offensive linemen, in a perfect world, I want them in free agency. But I mean, if you have to maybe trade a pick for somebody, then you do it. Okay. Because that you have to protect Tua. But the skill positions, I think you can do that in the draft. I really believe that. I think you could get your linebacker, your running back, and a receiver in the draft this year. And I would go for that in the first 4 rounds. That would be some of my picks. But free agency is where I want you to get your offensive lineman established. I think that's what you need in a big-time way. Alden Bloomfield says, if I missed the live stream, I love going back and watching just the Dolphins segments, interviews. It's great to be able to pull up just a half-hour video to listen on a quick drive. See what I mean? People love convenience, man. And if there's something that Sean and I do is I did it initially with my podcast, and then we transferred it over on Onside. We were doing it the same way, and we've continued to do it this way because it's the way the general public loves it, because they love convenience, man. You know? Oh, okay. Oh, talking about the Heat's, short staffed game last night. Okay, that's all I want to hear about. Boom. That's it. Oh, I want to hear his OK Coin crypto segment because I just want to hear about crypto. I don't want to have to go find it. And so they go to the crypto segment, and that's what they listen or watch. That's just the way it goes. And it's worked out for us in a big time way. People love it. And that's what we aim to please, baby. See, unlike the crap that goes on locally that they don't care about us, that's not who I am. I care about us. All of our sports fans around the world. We're one big, giant, happy family all over the planet. Okay? Whether it's our friends in London or in Mexico or in Portugal or in Malaysia or in Canada or anywhere from Asheville to New York to California. We're one big, happy family, not just here in South Florida. And I care about all of you all, and I want to make I want Sean and I to create the best sports programming out there. And I think that's what we're doing. And we're trying to provide it, make it as easy as possible for you, and give you as much content as possible. Not the lazy crap that goes on, that they just repeat the same things over and over again, repeat the same interviews and all that kind of stuff. That's, when you have a half hour of commercials and you're not skilled enough to fill the other half hour on your own and you have to repeat stuff, that's pretty sad. Hunter Butler says, and thank you for the love in the super chat, if Adams was a possibility for a good price, would you pull the trigger to replace Parker? No, I would not. I would not trade for a wide receiver because you're going to trade your picks and you got to give your cap space. That doesn't make sense. You draft him so you get him cheap for the first 4 or 5 years, okay? And he doesn't take up cap space, and you didn't give up a bunch of picks. Because a guy like Adams, you're going to have to give up more than one pick, and then you're going to give up a salary. I'm not. To me, that's not a productive way of doing business in the NFL. They can draft, so go draft. There'll be plenty of receivers in this draft. By the way, Bitcoin is over 39,000. It's at 39,200. Okay, so the market is up right now, folks. All right, good stuff, man. Nice to see the market up. Question is, will it stay up, or will we have one more correction before we finally have our catapult? Some people think there's going to be one more correction to that 30 to 33 range. Some people think it might even go as low as 28, but the 30 to 33 range, some people think. And so it's funny because I don't know what to I don't know what to think, man. Some people think it's going to break out from here now. And it's going to keep going up like it has been for 10 straight days now. By the way, we've been, I don't know if you know this, but we've been in a 10 straight day candles of green, and we've been positive for 10 straight days. And that's a nice correction after, that's a nice response after the deep correction that we just had. Question is, will it keep going? What you want to look at right now, and since we're doing our OK Coin Crypto Corner, what you want to look at right now is what happens when we cross the 40 threshold, because now we're in an area of resistance. It's been an area of support throughout the history of Bitcoin over the last few years, but now it's become a little bit of a resistance here the last 2 months. And that's been our problem of busting through all of that. So if we can get past like 42 and start to climb, then I think we're on a full go and we're going. But it'll be really interesting what happens now when we cross over 40, in between 40, 41, 41 and a half, 42, right around there. What happens? Are we able to pop through that area, or do we go sideways, or do we have another correction after that? And that's the thing that a lot of people are thinking about, because there's some people that really feel we've got one more correction. So I would tell you, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy that loves crypto. As I always tell you, I only tell you what I like to do, what I'm going to do. I'm holding off. I was purchasing, look, I got some before between 40 and 42, but then in the last couple of weeks in the dip, I was able to take advantage at, I think it was 34, 35, 36, 37, right around there, and I stopped. And I'm going to wait now, and I want to see what happens in the next week here as it hits this area that I told you of 39, 40, 41, because a lot of the people that are doing the TA, the technical analysis, they kind of feel that there's going to be one more resistance and one more correction. And it could be the one that is the final one that takes us to like 30, 33. And then we get finally our catapult, and it'll be kind of a Wyckoff that we're almost doing in the process. But there are some people that feel we have hit our bottom, and that these 10 days of positive upswing is part of our reestablishment and going up towards higher highs, past the 65s, into the 70s, into the 80s. I'm not sure yet. None of us are. Remember what I've told you before. Anybody that really tells you they're convinced that they know where the top is or where the bottom is of any of these runs, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. We can all make guesses. We can have a gut feeling. We can go through technical analysis. We can go through prior history, all of those things. But in crypto, things have changed. What wasn't here 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago was the amount of institutional money and financial institutions that are involved in all of this now. What's gone on is that we've lost a lot of retail lately, which is the average Joe like you and me. And that's what's going to allow these corporations, these financial institutions, to jump in and buy it at a much cheaper price. So personally for me, I'm going to be a little patient here in the next couple of days. I'm going to hold off. I want to see what happens in this barrier between 40 and 42. I want to see how Bitcoin responds. And if it responds as it starts to pop, then we're home free and we're moving. If not, there'll be another correction, and it'll be, guess what? An opportunity to buy the effing dip and take advantage. So little patience I'm going to show over the next couple of days. That's your OK Coin Crypto Corner. Now, let's talk a little Miami Dolphins with Omar Kelly and our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
Friday, here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Omar Kelly joins us right now. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
I'm good. I'm having a stream of consciousness. You just caught me typing away at a column that I'm thinking I want to write.
Sounds dangerous.
Huh?
Sounds dangerous. You and a stream of consciousness. That's a dangerous combination. That's all I'm saying.
You know, it's been very hard on me from this standpoint. When you're watching as many jobs opening up 9 and seeing the struggles that African Americans have of taking those jobs and getting to, and some of them getting at that second opportunity, whereas you know, someone like Brian, someone like Adam Gase, you know, him and Brian Flores have the identical record. They don't necessarily have similar issues, but you know, I don't think Brian Flores is going to get a second opportunity, and not right now, not until you know he proves himself. Whereas Adam Gase would.
You know, it's funny because you saw that Josh McDaniel soundbite that he says, you know, I didn't know how to get along with people in Denver. And that's what ruined my opportunity. I've learned. And I think that that's what people are seeing with Flo. And I look, I think I've believed all along that all these interviews were token interviews, just like what Doug Peterson is getting. Nobody's hiring Doug Peterson. It's token interviews that they're giving him. Even Jim Caldwell, because of the age, there were a couple token interviews. I think people are wanting to see, you know, Flo needs to get humbled. And he probably needs to go back like McDaniel to being a coordinator again and kind of reassess everything. And then that second go around, he'll get an opportunity. I think it's too the Gase thing is ruined him, because a lot of people are like, well, what you did with Gase was you basically told them everything you did in Miami was right. They were wrong. And he went on to be the same guy in New York, and you ruined it. If you do that with Flo, it might be the same thing. He might think what he did here was right, and then he didn't learn, and he'll be the same jerk he was here somewhere else. So he kind of needs to get humbled a little bit. Like
I had never heard of nor thought about that reason why Gase failed, and it's utterly brilliant. Never thought about it that way.
Because you're rewarding somebody. It's like your kid is a brat, and yet you still let him stay up and let him play with his video games, and you don't take away the phone, and you don't take away. So you keep rewarding him for being an idiot. And that's kind of what the Jets did. They rewarded Adam Gase for being a brat, and he felt like his brat ways were fine. That's it.
Never thought about it like that. And I think the accuracy to that is impeccable. I believe Adam Gase would have been a success. Was going to be a success when he humbled himself. I don't think that humbling ever came.
Jeff Ireland, baby.
Like,
you and I get to talk to Jeff Ireland. Different dude now.
He's a different guy now than he is in Miami. You know, I really do believe that the pressures of running an NFL franchise or being responsible for an NFL franchise, there are only 32 of them. Yeah, I think that changes people. The only person that I've never seen it change during my 14-year tenure is Chris Greer. He's the same dude.
Yeah. Dungy's like that too. Dungy's impeccable. He doesn't change for anything. He's the same.
Yeah, I don't know Dungy, but yeah. I mean, and I'm not
dealt with him, right? You've dealt with him. You've dealt with Dungy, right?
No,
really?
Never.
Wow. Okay. All right.
So never crossed paths, never interacted, never got to know him, talked to him, never literally saw him as a coach at a Senior Bowl. So no, never.
Felipe Alou was like that in baseball. Impeccable. Never changed.
Who?
Same dude. Felipe Alou.
Oh, okay.
The father. It's all right. I know you don't follow baseball much, but Felipe
Alou.
No,
I know who he is. Yeah.
He was the father. He was he was part of three brothers that played baseball, a couple decades ago, and then obviously his son Moises was with us in that championship season in '97. And Felipe was like that. He's one of those guys too that is no matter what, dude. He's like Chris Greer, not going to change. He's the same guy.
And I'm not saying that Chris Greer should be admired or that should be the aspiration, because I think
it's a good trait. It's a good trait to have. Actually,
it's a good trait, especially when you're in a position of power.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's a healthy trait to run an organization or to be a leader, because I'm not sure I would say that Chris Greer personifies leadership. Now, it's about delegation to him. It's about, minimized ego. All those things are great qualities, but I haven't seen him step up and be a leader. And
you just haven't seen him win yet, bro. That's all. Once he wins, everybody's a leader. Everybody's a winner. Everything works. The buttons you push are good.
You can't be part of 2 decades of, well, not 2 decades. You can't be part of
it's pretty close.
15 years of dysfunction. Like, I'm sorry, no matter who the names are and who the coaches are, who the head executive is, whatever, who the owner is, 15 years of dysfunction is 15 years of dysfunction. And I've now attended 2 press conferences where Steve Ross says the era of dysfunction is over. Now we're going to probably get a third. And that's not healthy. And you can't be part of it and not realize you're part of the problem. That's my personal opinion.
Right. Although, if they make this hire and it works, then there was never dysfunction. There was just one cog that wasn't working, and they got rid of it, and then they replaced it. Now, if this fails, then it's pure dysfunction through and through. So that's where they're going to get put to the test, because maybe it wasn't dysfunction. Maybe it's just they screwed up in this hire and now they got to fix it. And Lord knows they're not going to get a third chance. They know that.
No, I'm not even sure they deserve a second chance, but yes, that they're here. They survived. You should not pick 3 quarterbacks. You should not pick 3 coaches. Greer's probably going to get an opportunity to pick a third quarterback. God help him.
Why are you giving up on Tua already? Damn.
Oh, wow. I'm not giving up on Tua. We're not going to have this conversation again. I'm not giving up on Tua.
No, you already gave up on him. We kicked you off the bandwagon.
No, listen,
okay? You're not on with us. You're not on with us.
If you are a smart organization, and lo and behold, we know the Dolphins are not a smart organization. But if you are a smart organization, this is the time when you're installing, what is that? A Tua what? What I know it's Tua. What is it?
It's a Tua pop.
I don't even know what a pop is.
It's like an animated whatever, a doll, an action figure, whatever the hell you want to call it.
All right. So it's like
a collector's item, bro. Come on, it's cool. Tua.
Yeah, I saw something in Tua. I saw something in Home Goods today.
We got a Marino too. We got a Marino
that had Tua's face
on
it.
2 of the greatest quarterbacks ever.
I saw something in Home Goods today that had Tua's face on it, and it was on clearance in Home Goods. Just so you know,
Tua's. Where is it? What was it?
Tua's in the clearance aisle. it was like something decorative with Tua's face on it. It was kind of weird. I wanted to take a picture of it, but then I didn't want Tua to get all on me, and I had to deal with that. So I was like,
you would have with your terrible memory, you would have remembered what it is with the picture. You would have known where it is. You could have told me, and I could have gone to buy it.
It was something decorative. It was something decorative that had NFL teams, and it was this weird kind of clayish picture of Tua, and I've never seen anything like it before. I'm sure he would probably want it as a collector's item if he'd ever seen it, even though it doesn't really look like him. It's supposed to be him. It's NFL license, which blew my mind. But I couldn't really tell you what it was. I think you put it on like your wall as like a decorative art piece. Because it wasn't Home Goods.
We got a big old wall back here. We can put it.
Yeah, I go back.
Can't have enough Tua, bro. Can't have enough Tua.
Let me finish what I was saying. If you are the Miami Dolphins at this point, instead of paying $7 million for a crappy backup in Jacoby Brissett, go draft the guy in the second round. Have him as the backup. He's learning the offense at the same time as Tua. Because of COVID and because of Tua's injury history, you're going to need another quarterback. Oh my God. What is your problem? You can't draft a receiver.
You need a running back. You need a middle linebacker.
You need a lot of things.
I keep telling the discussion is
the damn
teams.
You also need a backup
quarterback.
Find out if the quarterback can play. Answer the question. Do you not need a backup quarterback? Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you want to pay $7 million for him? Yes or no?
Yes, I have to pay for a veteran like a Teddy Bridgewater or something like that.
Oh my God, you're going to bring Teddy Bridgewater in here?
I need somebody behind him that, cerebral and can think and can help him.
Teddy ain't coming here to be a backup.
What Strock was to Marino, that's what you want, dude.
One, Teddy's not coming here to be a backup. And two, when he outperforms him in practice.
Nobody's handing Teddy a starting job anywhere, dude.
Teddy's a fringe starter. He might get a job in like Tampa Bay or New Orleans.
Let's be honest. Teddy is a terrible starter. Okay, because when you're fringe, that means you're terrible. I know you're being nice, and I know he's a local kid, and he's a fantastic young man, and you want him to marry your daughter because he's such a fantastic dude. But he's a very mediocre quarterback because the good Lord did not bless him with enough. But he would be
did not bless him with what, an arm? Did not bless him with an arm like the quarterback that starts
arm and legs. Actually, he has a better arm than him. But still, the bottom line is, and he can run around better than Teddy. Teddy can't run around much. Okay, seriously, come on.
Teddy had a 94.9 passer rating this year, which exceeds Tua's passer rating. Now he doesn't have great touchdown interception percentage, but Teddy
has no explosiveness to his game at all, zero. But anyway, bottom line is, you need a guy like that. I know he's up for a head coaching position, which is crazy.
Who?
Josh McCown. You need those
I would name Josh McCown my offensive coordinator. If Flores was smart, he would have hired Josh McCown.
Yeah, but you just said that's the key caveat right there. If Flores is smart, that's the part you just right there. Did you watch him in his challenges? Not very smart. But anyway. But I want a seasoned veteran behind him. That's what I think is what you need. Now, as for your young, why do you not want a young cheap quarterback? A guy like that, I can
see. Answer my question. Why do you not want a young cheap quarterback? Because you could spend that $7 million that you're going to spend on a backup quarterback, on a linebacker, or on an offensive tackle, and then go get a cheap backup quarterback in the draft. Why
the cheap backup quarterback has not seen things in the NFL? You got to get a veteran behind him to help him, dude. Marino did it, bro. It doesn't matter. This is not something of lesser players.
That's what a quarterback.
There's nothing wrong with having.
How much you think
a kind of an assistant coach that's really your backup quarterback?
How much do you think Brissett was really helping Tua, or was Tua helping Brissett? Because literally. They couldn't even run the same offense when Brissett was starting at quarterback.
I know, doggy. That's why
he ain't helping him do jack squat.
But you again goes back to your point. The guy's not very bright. That's why he hired Brissett.
No,
I'm not talking about Flo and his stupid decisions, bro. I'm talking about making much smarter decisions than Flo and have a backup veteran that can help Tua, dude.
Go draft a quarterback and have him compete. And that's the problem. That's the problem this franchise has had for 2 decades.
No, I don't mind your idea, but your idea, I do it in the 5th and 6th and 7th rounds. In the 2nd round, dude, I'm getting my running back. I'm getting another receiver. I'm getting a middle linebacker. I'm getting something that I need to help my team now. I can
address all
I'm not going to get a backup quarterback that's going to sit there, dude.
I could address all those issues in free agency. What my problem with
you can't buy it all, Omar. You cannot.
No, I can buy what I need. I could buy a running back. I could buy a right tackle. I could buy an inside linebacker. I could pay for my pass rusher. I can go get a tight end, right? A real tight end. I could buy it all. I've figured it out already. I can buy it all. Now, I still got to address Xavier, but in the draft, this team's.
Well, that'll bring you more. Actually, that'll bring more picks. I forgot about that. That's going to bring an extra pick this year, next year.
And you must be planning to build a whole new defense.
Well, I mean, they will have another corner there. That's for sure. It'll be Iggy / veteran corner. Will be on that side.
We playing Iggy.
Well, they have to play him. They have no choice. They have to find out if he can play or not. They have no choice. Whether any of you like it or not.
You looking to lose.
No, not really.
We must be. Who are we taking for?
Yeah, you're convinced everything is negative. It may not be that way.
You don't know. Let me know who we're taking for.
None of us know, man. Every time we've ever been excited about something, they never live up to it.
Hold on, wait a minute. The Alabama quarterback, he's not eligible next year, is he?
Who?
The one that won the Heisman.
Yeah.
He's a sophomore next year.
Yeah. He's not available. Why?
So we ain't taking for. Who we taking for?
What do you mean?
Let me know. Since we started
in the second round?
Since we started Iggy, who we taking for? Let me know. Let him know.
They'll get a veteran corner. I don't know who's available right now. I'm not even looking at free agency yet because I haven't seen everybody that's tagged and who's staying and who's not. So I haven't even bothered looking at that yet.
Yeah, man.
But they'll get some kind of a corner. I'm sure.
Yes,
as an insurance policy, they'll have to
because you're trading your best player. That's always a great start for a franchise.
All right, so your thoughts on the Mike McDaniel stuff that came out yesterday? Jordan Schultz reporting that Chris Greer and McDaniel met yesterday, and he talked about how he believes in Tua and that he can get a quicker passing game and unlock Tua. Your thoughts on that?
Not sure it's completely accurate, but I'm open to the thought process of it being accurate.
Jordan will be on our show tomorrow, by the way. So you can check out the interview there. We will talk to him about all that stuff.
Who does he work for?
Yahoo.
Okay.
Good dude, by the way. I've known him for years. He's a good dude. Well connected.
I like Mike McDaniel. I think that or have been told that he is the mastermind behind the scenes of what the 49ers.
He does call some plays. It's not true that he doesn't call the plays. He's not the main play caller, but he actually does call plays.
I don't
Shanahan relies on him to come up with stuff. So
I don't get obsessed with all that because from I don't want my head coach calling plays.
That's a great point. It's a great point.
So I'm not worried about that. What I liked about Flores, primarily from a defensive standpoint, not only did he not call plays, but his focus was creating the game plan and creating the game plan that was catered specifically to that opponent that would lead to the strategy of winning. And I always loved their defensive game plan. Offense now, that's a whole different story, especially without Chan Gailey. So I think that if you're giving me two candidates, those two choices, I'm going to go with Mike McDaniel. Only reason I say that is because
you mean you're not throwing Harbaugh in there like some people actually think he's a candidate?
I think that you should. I think he should be a candidate.
Okay, but you are realistic enough that they're not hiring him, right? They that they're not even looking at him, right? You do know that,
think
right?
I think that you should throw a Hail Mary pass, full power, $9 million a year, 5-year fully guaranteed, and make him say no. I know he will say no, but let's just assume that offer is substantially more than Minnesota's going to make him.
Why would he say no?
Why would he say no? Because
he job.
Huh?
He wants an NFL job.
Yeah, but who says that he wants this job?
Because he's got an owner that will bend over backwards and give him whatever he wants because he's Jim Harbaugh and he's in love with him.
I don't know if that in love with him is. I think that in love with him is overstated.
No, he's in love with him now. He's smart enough now to know that he can't take him now because it's stupid to take him now because he'll never be able to show up in Michigan again. Tomorrow's National Signing Day. And this
they got 20, hold on. I hate when people say tomorrow's National Signing Day. They have 23 players already signed.
Yeah.
How
and they all can hit the transfer portal right away once he leaves. Don't look at me like the RCA.
Is that the new rule?
They can transfer right the hell out.
And they don't have to sit out?
They don't have no, dude. Where are you living? It's called transfer portal. They're out of there.
No, okay. I don't follow college, so I don't know the rules technically, but hold on. Just because you hit the transfer portal, I thought you had to like finish school to prevent you from sitting out a year.
No, you can transfer.
I'll look this up when I get back to it.
Pull up the definition of transfer portal there, Sean. All right, go ahead.
I think that he's already meeting with Minnesota on signing day.
The second meeting.
Yeah, so
it's crazy.
So he clearly making a jump. He's talked to the Raiders.
It's irresponsible. It's terrible.
Dude, you can do whatever you want with your life. Like you act like this is your life. You can do whatever you want with your life.
You can do whatever you want. That's fine, but it's a D-bag move. You should have made that decision after you got eliminated from the playoffs. That's when you make the decision and you give Michigan time so they can go get their coach.
He's a D-bag.
So they can have somebody for signing day and for recruiting.
He's a D-bag. So you know what you did when you hired him. And the same thing with the Dolphins. He's a D-bag. So when he does D-bag stuff, what was coming. So I'm sure. Do you think Michigan is also panicked right now? I don't think they are. So
yeah, I mean, it's not. They are panicking in a way because if they're about to lose their coach and they need a coach, they also could end up losing recruits, and they've got a top 10 class. And then you're in the middle, and I don't know if you remember. Well, again, you don't follow it, but Michigan was in. I mean, they haven't been great under him, and they were in hell before that. So they have a lot to worry about in that sense, and it's not like they won a national title. They won the Big Ten, but they didn't really, win in the playoffs.
Yeah. I don't see the big. If he's coming to the NFL, you shoot your shot. Ross won't, but you should.
Okay, but he's not in the mix. Okay, as long as you know that, that's fine.
I'm not.
I love the people that try to make it sound like he's in the mix, and
he should be in the mix. He's
not. He's not at all.
He should be. He's not. He should be. He's not. And this is the same thing. The same problem I have with this franchise, and have continued to have with this franchise. You keep making the same mistakes over and over and over and over again, and getting the same results that you get, and then claiming it's not you. And leadership isn't a problem. No, leadership is the problem. No, we're very clear right now. Leadership is the problem. And if you don't shoot your shot at Harbaugh, who the problem is you don't have anybody in your organization that you have full confidence that they know what they're doing and they can get the job done. There's nobody here, football-wise. Nobody. Even whoever you hire, there's no confidence that they can put together quality staff. That's going to be an issue no matter who you hire, whether it's Kellen Moore or Mike McDaniel.
Right.
Pick the guy who's a leader of men. Pick the guy who you believe can help your quarterback.
Like Saban?
Saban was a leader of men.
Like Jimmy Johnson? like Parcells.
Jimmy Johnson was a leader of men.
I know, but none of them worked. None of them worked.
Yeah, none of them worked because they all picked the wrong quarterback or didn't have the quarterback.
And by the way, that leader of men shit. I covered Jimmy, bro. He sucked.
No,
he sucked. He made James Johnson play with a quarter hole hamstring. He had a hole in his hamstring that was the size of the quarter, and he made him play. He made Robert Walker play safety with a partially torn ACL on his knee. He embarrassed and put Marino through hell for 4 years. I covered that team every moment of every day. Jimmy Johnson was not a leader of men. He was a tyrant, and he was a guy that he didn't tolerate anything and was terrible at communicating with his players. He created a lot of his own problems in that building. Okay, bringing in Jim Druckenmiller and all the other things, and he straddled this team with Dave Wanstead after. He was not a leader of men. That's a term that you're using very loosely lately, and it's one that does not go with everybody. Just because you're some tough guy doesn't mean you're a leader of men. Brian Flores was not a leader of men. Brian Flores was an ogre. Okay. Nick Saban was an ogre. That guy stepped over a guy that was having convulsions on the floor. That's not a leader of men, dude. Sorry. There has to be some compassion. There has to be some understanding. There has to be communication. There has to be tolerance. Okay? There has to be some patience in order to be a leader of anything. Men, women, whatever.
I think at times, Jimmy Johnson showcased all of those things that you just talked about that make you a leader of men. Now you're bringing up isolated incidents, which is fair.
I'll give you the perfect example, my brother. He took over in Dallas. He had 8,000 picks. He knew the draft and he knew the college players at that moment. He drafted a shit ton of young players that took his orders. He had the perfect team. But when he got to the Dolphins, it was more veteran laden. He wasn't saddled with 400 picks that he can pick young guys that can only say yes or no, sir. He had a whole bunch of veterans. And then that's when he ran into problems. He ran into men, and he could not handle the men. And instead, he was coming from college where they took orders, and in Dallas, they took orders. But he ran out of gas there too as time went on because he was wearing thin. Jimmy Johnson is not a leader of men. He's a leader of boys. He had trouble connecting with men.
Is he not in the Football Hall of Fame?
That doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
That doesn't matter to me. That doesn't mean he's a leader of men, my brother. That's not, that has not, you're both of them are not mutually exclusive. You know what I mean? It's not, they don't go together. I disagree with you on that. I think Shula was more, and he berated people, but probably more of a leader of men in reaching with people because he was a guy that could get over those disagreements. Jimmy did not.
I think you covered those teams. I was only an intern once. We're talking about a 3-year span, 6, 7, 8, 9, 4-year span. 4-year span, and
he burns out quickly. That's what Jimmy does. He burns out everywhere he goes.
8-8, 9-7, 10-6, 9-7, with 3 playoff berths.
Yeah, 3 embarrassing playoff berths. Well, we won one of them. One of them we got a game.
It's better. No,
I think right.
You won 2. You won a playoff game 2 of the 3 years. Listen, and was that the era of Brady, or did the era of Brady not start yet?
No, it had not started yet. It just started right when Wanstead took over.
Yeah.
That was the era of the whatever, man, Peyton Manning, everything else that was going on in the NFL. Yeah,
it was okay. It wasn't not 8-8, 9-7, 10-6, 9-7. You know, maybe now that I see the outcome of the records, and maybe I'm romanticizing it a little bit because that looked kind of
The only thing Jimmy did was he cleaned up the cap because Shula, unfortunately, the cap came on during his last couple of years, and it was a new monster for the old man. It was tough to deal with him, and then he left the defense. He left those guys. Those are the two positives that Jimmy did.
I've talked to I've talked to enough players. You covered the team during that era, and maybe people in the moment will look at him as a tyrant, but when history will recall him being a leader. I mean, that's the reason why all these coaches go visit him on an annual basis to talk about leadership and coaching and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of deceiving, but whatever. I mean, it's kind of the whole John Gruden was doing QB camp and he never developed a QB in his life. So it was just, we kind of create these things.
Wow.
It's kind of weird. It's the truth. It's the truth. What QB did John Gruden ever develop in his freaking life? I mean, none. And meanwhile, we're calling him some quarterback.
Did he have anything to do with Favre?
No, dude. That's Holmgren and Mariucci. By the way, traded by Ron Wolf from Atlanta to Green Bay. Okay, Ron Wolf one offseason had Brett Favre. He had Mark Brunell, who he traded to Jacksonville. He had Aaron Brooks, who he traded to New Orleans. And he cut Kurt Warner. Then went to go bag groceries, ended up in the Arena League, then came to St. Louis. By the way, after Ron Wolf traded for Brett Favre and traded the other two QBs, he then drafts Matt Hasselbeck, who then Miami and Seattle get in a bidding war for Matt Hasselbeck. Miami offers a second, Seattle offers a first. They trade him to Seattle. The rest is history. Holmgren ends up in Seattle. They get to a Super Bowl together. So Ron Wolf was the king of quarterbacks, and he just kept producing and drafting and trading quarterbacks. He was the guy that understood that
he's still out there now. So maybe
he's a consultant now, because obviously he's up there in years.
But somebody should hire him to go find a quarterback.
That man he's the man.
Yeah, son Elliott's making moves. I think he's now like the number 2 in New England.
Yeah, he's been climbing too. They thought in Green Bay he was going to have a shot, and I don't know what happened in Green Bay, but he and Highsmith did not get the opportunities that they deserve. So I don't know what the hell is happening, but whatever, it is what it is.
It's a weird world out there, bro.
Yeah, it is. All right, so
you got to know how to kiss the right ass.
I've always had that problem. Anyway, I can't do it. The McDaniel thing, it happens by the end of the week, correct?
Probably.
Right?
Probably.
Okay. And it's interesting. I talked about this earlier, and we'll close it out with this. The Giants are kind of doing the same thing. Giants kept their quarterback. Dable wants to work with the quarterback. He's now going to keep the defensive staff in place because he's a young coach, and it's hard to build staffs. And he knows flattery from 2 years working with him.
He also worked with Patrick Graham, so don't.
Yeah, Patrick Graham was right. He worked 2 years, I said, in New England. Yeah. So he has a little familiarity, but it's hard for young coaches to build staffs. So I think what they're doing here with Mike McDaniel, in a way, is a real positive for him. Even though I'm not a fan of the human Jenga, but at least McDaniel will come in, and all he has to do is worry mostly about offense right now because the defensive staff is in place.
Human Jenga?
Jenga, the wood blocks that you have to take out. Uh-huh. So that's what we've done. We've done human Jenga, that we always pull out one and we put in another one in place with everything that's already in place. You understand? So that we've been playing human Jenga for many, many years now. By the way, for those of you that are new, we have to work with Omar on jokes and, pop culture references and things like that. He's stuck in his football ways. He's got football blinders on, and we try to open his world here on this show. Okay.
Listen,
no, but seriously, I think it helps him early on so he can focus on the offense, and then he can watch the defense. And over the next couple of years, if he sticks around, he can then tweak it and make the changes he wants.
I never like nor feel comfortable with you forcing me to keep a staff.
I agree.
So that part of it,
but with the experiences of Philbin and Flo having trouble building staffs, I can almost understand that you help a guy like Mike build a staff early, and then as he gets comfortable, I'm sure he'll tweak and make changes along the way.
But you know what? Like we say that Gase didn't have a problem building a staff. Gase had a pretty good staff. Now
I said Philbin and Flo.
Yeah, I know. So why can't we hire a guy who can actually build his own staff?
It's hard, man. Yeah.
I it is what it is. This is a never-ending cycle.
But it's a catch-22 here, right? Because you're McVay and you take over for the Rams, and the first thing you do is you hire Wade Phillips. So if you're Flo, dude, they gave you Changeli. Get the F out of the way. Leave him alone, bro. Let him do his thing. Let him run the damn offense.
Wow.
So it's a difference. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's where I give Daboll credit. That, okay, there's a defensive staff in place. They were 21st in the league. They weren't great, but okay, let me keep the chemistry and the continuity. He's got potential.
Yeah, and
here the same way. You got chemistry and continuity, a pretty good defense. Okay.
And I don't like the fact that people have this perception that this defense is great. It was 18th.
Not great. It's good. Solid.
It was 18th. It was mid-tier.
Yeah.
So don't say great. It was good. No,
it wasn't great, but I'm saying it's there's continuity there that you can continue to then build on that and try to tweak it, because we all know what's wrong with it. If you wanted to go from 18 to 8 or 9 or 5, get some middle linebackers, bro. Get some thumpers that'll stop the run.
And take Xavier Howard out of the equation. That's brilliant.
What? What's that?
I said, and take Xavier Howard out of the equation. That's a brilliant strategy there.
You cannot keep, you can't keep both corners and sign everybody. It just doesn't work.
Yes, you can. You can fix Xavier's money and keep it moving and buy him another year. Buy yourself another year to figure it out, and another year for this coach to
and another year, and then eventually the knee gives out, and then you lost your window.
Oh, bro, we've now had 2 years without knee issues, and you just keep waiting for it. Eventually, you're going to be right. Eventually, you're going to be right.
And then you're stuck, and then you're done. It's not going to happen. You and I know it's not going to happen in year 12 for X.
The guy leads the NFL in interceptions and creates a crap load of turnovers, which helps you produce wins. He wants his money, but you're instead of giving him his extra $2-3 million, you're just going to say, let's trade him for a first-round pick so we could go draft Noah Igbenogany. Brilliant strategy.
Well, the Noah thing. Well, don't beat on women, and maybe they won't have to draft him.
Wow. Listen, those are allegations, allegedly.
Okay, allegedly. Don't beat on women so we don't have to draft you.
And they drafted somebody because of the knee.
Both.
Oh,
you know that, and I know that. Because they don't know if he's going to lose his temper again, right? Allegedly, right? They don't know. And he's already had several knee scopes. So that knee is like a jack in the box. And eventually the clown's going to come out and the knee's going to give out. And then what? And then we're going to kill them for keeping him. And they could have traded him. They could have gotten picks. They knew his knee was bad.
If you want to trade him, he ain't got no problem with it.
No, I know.
So it makes keep trading away your best players. That's the strategy for success. It's history has shown us.
Well, I know that, but remember, one of them they didn't want to trade. It was Flo that was forcing the trade because he didn't get along with Minka. And then the front office did such a marvelous job that they went and got another Pro Bowl young safety. So let's not leave that out, okay? Don't say, let's trade away. Keep trading away your best players. Let's not have a head coach that's an a-hole that can't get along with him.
All right. Cannot argue that. Cannot argue that. So, listen, who's to say that the next head coach is not going to have his run-ins with the top players on this team, and they're going to demand a trade and want out. It's a never-ending cycle here. Even if you got Harbaugh probably piss off a bunch of people. They demand out, not pay this guy, he demand out. It's a never-ending cycle around here. It just keeps going round and round and round and round. And we're the one consistent thread throughout this whole thing. 3 consistent threads that I found. Troublesome leadership. That's undeniable at this point. Quarterback's not good enough. It's been consistent for 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important one, which we can easily fix, is quarterback never has to compete.
Right.
Those are the 3 common threads of the last 20 years.
How many teams have competing quarterbacks?
I don't know. I don't care.
I'm just telling you. You make it sound like it's something common. They don't do that.
If you don't have the guy,
doesn't really happen much.
Why isn't it common?
Brought up a lot, but yet
why isn't it common? Because you don't want to divide the locker room.
No, because you normally pick your quarterback and then you play him and you support him.
Pick your quarterback and you hit your wagon, and whether he succeeds or fails, you just ride with him. How about you have some options? When do you get
options? When do you get options? When the guy
you know what Kansas City did? They drafted a young quarterback when they had Alex Smith going to Pro Bowls. You know what? But
they didn't draft Alex Smith.
No, I'm sorry. You drafted Patrick Mahomes. That was a stopgap. You drafted Patrick Mahomes when you had Alex Smith.
Right.
Playing Pro Bowl level. You know what Baltimore did? They drafted Lamar Jackson when they still had a Joe Flacco that was competent, still getting it done.
But wasn't enough.
The scared teams, they operate with scared mentality, scared moves, they're scared of quarterback competition, scared of dividing the locker rooms.
That wasn't competition, Omar. That was a replacement that you drafted. You're changing the subject again.
Oh, well.
Nobody opens up competitions with 2 quarterbacks. Because if you do that with Nick Foles and Trubisky,
San Diego Chargers did,
you have no
quarterbacks. San Diego Chargers did. They had 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks.
Who?
San Diego Chargers.
Who?
Phillip Rivers and Drew Brees.
Wrong again. They were already unloading on Drew Brees. They had given up on Drew Brees.
He stayed there 2 years and started.
No, he was 3 years and
no. He was started 2 years with Phillip Rivers there.
And his 4th year. This last year, the Rivers year that they drafted was the year that he had an awesome year because he finally broke through and they traded him because they already had traded for Rivers.
I believe Rivers developed.
They didn't bring in competition. That was a replacement. Okay? Nobody has competition going on, opening it up like college football. Here are the 2 quarterbacks for spring. Nobody does that in the NFL.
Because they're dumb.
But it doesn't happen.
Because they're dumb.
You make your decision on who's your guy and who's your backup,
dumb.
and you move forward. We all create this narrative. Well, I don't, but you're doing it. Others. Oh, no, go get competition. Well, nobody does that. Every time you do that, you say you have no quarterback. Because if you have competition, that means you have no quarterback.
Because they're dumb. Eventually, the cream rises to the top.
Okay. I don't think that happened with Nick Foles and Mitch Trubisky. Only place I saw competition last year.
It wasn't.
Only place. Nobody else had competition at quarterback.
Nick Foles was in Chicago with the Fields kid.
Or Trubisky or whatever. But no, the year before.
And Andy Dalton. Dalton and Nick Foles.
Well, that's this year. I'm talking about the year before when they had the 2. That's what I'm saying. It's just you do that, it's for sure you don't have a quarterback. Every time you do that, that means you don't have a quarterback. Okay? The only time you draft the other quarterback, it's because you're already drafting him to replace the starter. All right? You trade for Steve Young because you know you're replacing Joe Montana. Eventually, it's coming, whether you like it or not. And that was what you were talking about before. You drafted Phillip Rivers because you were already moving on from Drew Brees at that point. It wasn't competition. You had already given up. Remember the whole Eli Manning thing. So, all right. So when do we get a decision on McDaniel?
Bro, let's not claim it's a foregone conclusion. I don't know if it is or if it isn't. So I don't. The last time I said it was one guy, it would turn out to be the other guy. Like, I ain't doing that no more.
Who was that? Who was that?
During Flores' era.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Follow him on Twitter. Huh?
It's a fluid situation.
All right. None of us know. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly and catch his work at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. We will catch you again on Friday, my brother. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Talk to you later.
You got it. Omar Kelly. We go from EJDconstruction.com, Miami Dolphins report. And guess who's next? Joe Schad and Sports Grill, Miami Dolphins report.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Omar Kelly. For additions, home remodeling, or custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843. Dolphins fans, buckle up. It's time for the American Dream Lending Miami Dolphins report with Joe Schad. When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. Call them at 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. Here's Joe Schad with today's edition of the American Dream Lending report.
Travel Joe. Damn, that's a stylish couch you're sitting in front of. Where are you at? You in the hotel?
Yeah, I'm in the hotel lobby restaurant of the hotel you're probably very familiar with here in Mobile, Alabama. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right. So what are you seeing around there? Do we have a lot of action, a lot of NFL folks, or is it limited because of COVID?
There are some coaches and staffers who are not here. There's a lot of media members here, more than 900. It's like SEC football media days. It reminds me of that. You know, everybody has a draft podcast. Everybody has a draft mock draft. Everybody has a draft blog. So there's a lot more media people here than maybe coaches. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going out to practice this morning. I spent a little time with Pittsburgh quarterback Kenny Pickett, and he told me that he is mentored by Danny Marino.
Nice.
And that he was hoping to see Danny Marino, that Dan let him know that he was expected to come into town last night. I have not seen Dan Marino. I have seen Chris Greer and some other Dolphins officials. I've not seen Brian Flores. I heard he was here.
Did you ask Greer about his interview with McDaniel? How'd it go?
No, Chris is not going to give me the scoop on Mike McDaniel's interview. I can tell you this, McDaniel is expected to interview for a second time this week, but I'm not prepared to say that interview has already taken place.
Well, reports are it took place yesterday. Is that true? So you don't
Who
think
reported that? Who reported that?
I think it was Schultz who reported that yesterday.
Right,
that
one person. Right,
that it was going on yesterday.
I don't know him. He might be a nice guy. I don't know, but
Mike McDaniel's Dolphins interview spanned much of the day, with McDaniel stressing to Chris Greer his plans on how to unlock Tua once a quicker passing game.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that. This is going to be like a Tom Brady agent statement. I'm not going to get into the accuracy or lack of accuracy to that particular report. At which time I'm prepared to reveal more information about Mike McDaniel's second interview, I will do so. But I believe that this is an ongoing process, that the Dolphins are taking their time, if you know what I mean.
I got you. Okay. I like that. By the way, I'll go back to the Dolphins in a second. I don't know if you ended up talking with him, but he ended up creating a little bit more of a controversy, Kenny Pickett, because he didn't measure his hands. And people are worried about his hands being too small.
Yeah.
So I don't know, was that part of the conversation at all when you saw Kenny?
Yeah, he has the double jointed thumb, and so he has one of the smallest hand measurements of like all time. He's very sensitive about it. These hands of mine are small, I know. Mine are not small. That's Jewel, right?
Yeah.
He says, "Look, I threw the ball in the cold weather and the snow and the ice in Pittsburgh. Don't worry about ball security. I'm just fine."
Yeah.
But listen,
he's got a nice arm, dude. I like it.
if Kenny Pickett were to somehow slip all the way to 29 because someone said his hands were too small, would you be okay with the Dolphins drafting him? Another Pittsburgh quarterback mentored
No,
by Dan
I
Marino?
really would not. I'd rather you go get a receiver and a running back and a middle linebacker and get linemen and build this team up so you can do it instead of
I
worrying
mean, it's
about
unlikely. Yeah, it's unlikely.
But I will say this, Joe, it's intriguing because you could draft him to trade him. You know what I mean? And so that's also what you could end up doing.
Or if he's better than Tua, you just play him. I mean,
Because
it is kind of nice to have some
right.
competition.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You draft him, and then you try to trade him because while you were trying to draft him, you had calls from 3 or 4 teams that wanted to move up at that moment. So now you know if we take him, we're going to be able to trade.
Or you
him
just have a nice training camp competition. There's nothing wrong with
You
that. If you think this guy is a legitimate top 12 talent and he falls to 29, let's just go ahead.
You could, but I just had this conversation with Omar. You don't do that in the NFL. Doesn't happen.
Well, RG3
every time you
Cousins
do
is
that,
a classic example.
Every time you do that, you're doing it because you don't have a quarterback, and neither guy is a quarterback.
Well, we can't
Normally in the
sit here.
NFL, you draft a guy, and you build around that guy. You don't create controversy.
We can't sit here and suggest that the Dolphins know on February 1st, 2022, that Tua Tagovailoa is their quarterback of the future. Unfortunately, they don't.
Maybe they do. You just don't. Maybe they're convinced that he can be the guy if you give him a line and you give him real coaching and a running game. You think he can. I think he can. See, that's where you and I disagree on that one. That's the interesting part about this dynamic. As we've talked about this one before, you've made up your mind. He's not the guy. You know what I mean?
What if
You
my
moved on.
opinion? What if my opinion is based not just on what I see at practice? What if my opinion is based on conversations with people here at the Senior Bowl who are directors of pro personnel, general managers, scouts, and coaches?
Right.
And what if I told you that a lot of them are Tua doubters? Would you believe me? You would believe
Yes,
me, right?
of course
'Cause
I
I don't
would.
lie. I don't lie. So
Right.
So it's not just Joe's opinion. Joe's opinion is based on the input from many experts.
I get it. And are those experts all right every time?
I don't know. We're going to find out. I mean,
That's
he's got
my
1
point.
year to prove it. That's for sure.
That's the intriguing part of Tua, right?
Now at 29, so the Dolphins have the 29th pick. I just wanted to say to you, I'm looking at these offensive tackles. You got the Minnesota kid. He's 380 pounds. You got a converted tight end from Central Michigan who grew up in Austria or something. These guys, when you're picking 29, this is not like, a top 5 offensive lineman, even an Austin Jackson type offensive lineman. And these guys, who's a little bit of a developmental guy. These guys are more projects.
Yeah.
And Tua doesn't need a project at 29. Although, to be fair, the Dolphins didn't think Liam Eichenberg was a project. Orlando, they traded they traded a 3rd round pick to move up in the 2nd round to guarantee Liam Eichenberg.
Yep.
So let's hope that was the right decision.
Well, the wrong decision was the offensive line coach. They need a guy that can go in there, teach these guys, build up their confidence again. Joe, I think a lot of things that happened this season was they were so inept on offense that I think your initial running backs wore out and lost confidence in running behind that line. I think Tua wore out as the season wore on, taking a beating behind that line, dealing with the criticism. By the end of the year, his face was as serious as it got. He wasn't that playful, smiling guy that he normally is with you guys out there. The offensive line, I think those guys failed so much that they lost all their confidence.
Yeah, I'm going to write this down. I should do.
I don't believe that morally this team was anywhere where they needed to be to succeed. And I think they need a coaching staff that can build them up confidence-wise, that can build them up also intelligence, so they can go out there and have some success and build on it. I think that was a worn-out offense that knew they had no chance because of that coaching staff. I really believe that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, people, including me, believe it or not, we like hope. And so you've given me an idea. I'm going to do top 5 reasons for some Tua hope, or hope in Tua. And, or, you know, people like lists. I like lists. It makes it easy to kind of formulate your thoughts in a really easy way to present it. So, yeah, you know, number 1 would be, hey, this guy gets away from Brian Flores. Maybe Brian Flores beat him up mentally. He didn't think that Brian trusted in him. So that would be certainly on the list.
How many times you go tell your kid you love him every day? Bunch of times, right? Right?
Well, you'd like to hope that they know, but yeah.
Right. I mean, I tell my daughter 100 times a day I love her.
Telling them is good. Showing them is probably...
And showing them, loving them, hugging them, whatever they want, right?
Well, wasn't drafting Jalen Waddle a sign of love? Wasn't that a, we're doing this for you, Tua?
No, keeping Jacoby Brissett starting and putting you on the sidelines when you can play is not love.
He was hurt, right?
And you know what you did in the first
year. Injury
situation. You know what I mean? It's just he showed no love. You know what I mean? Any relationship has to be nurtured. There was no nurturing in that relationship because the pouting child did not get what he wanted because he didn't want that quarterback. So since he didn't get that quarterback, he wasn't going to play games with everybody else. That was the problem there. It's hard.
There's reasons to believe that the quarterback will be better. You talk about increased health, a different coaching staff, maybe the addition of a key offensive line free agent, another receiver. Yeah, there's reasons to believe that the Dolphins offense can be better. If you bring in a Mike McDaniel, who I would think is the leading candidate at this time, more so than Jim Harbaugh. I know eventually you get around to Jim Harbaugh. It's my educated opinion that Mike McDaniel is far more likely than Jim Harbaugh.
And by the way, stop saying Schad is a Tua hater. He's not a believer. Okay? Tua's impossible to hate, right? Isn't it true? He's impossible.
Yeah, I don't hate anybody. Hate's a strong word.
Yeah. He may not be a believer. But Tua's he's impossible to hate, bro. It's like Tim Tebow. You can believe or not believe that Tim Tebow can play, but you can't hate Tim Tebow. It's impossible. It's not humanly normal to hate Tim Tebow. You gotta love Tim Tebow. You know what I'm saying? So
if you go back, I wrote 100 articles about the reasons why the Dolphins should draft Tua Tagovailoa. Believe me, I don't want to be wrong. I'd much rather be right.
No, I know. Well, I know you'd rather cover a winning team. All right, let's wrap it up with this. Mike McDaniel. I'm with you. I've said that Dable was their 1 and McDaniel was their 2. Their 1 is gone. 2 is McDaniel. I think this is the guy that's going to get the job. I don't believe Harbaugh's in the mix at all whatsoever. So talk to me a little bit about McDaniel. What are you expecting in this? And when is this decision going to be made? Do you have any feel for it? We asked Omar, and he had no feel for it.
Well, Super Bowl week is next week, right?
Yes, sir.
So I would think the Dolphins would prefer to have an announcement and press conference by Sunday because you don't want to get into that Super Bowl week. So that's my prediction. Okay, we'll have a press conference Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Do you like how? Like, I'm not a fan of what's happened with Philbin. I mean, with Philbin and what's it called with Flo, that they had trouble building staffs. So we're watching with the Giants that they're going to keep Graham, the defensive coordinator. Now they have 2 years of working together, so they kind of know each other.
They lost Ken Dorsey. He's staying with the Bills.
Yeah. Ken Dorsey, good for you, Ken Dorsey. You did the smart move and stayed with the Bills. That would have been such a chump move to go with them to the Giants. That would have been terrible. Stay there, bro. Make your mark. Anyway, so he's keeping the defensive coordinator. He inherited the quarterback. Young coach. It's hard to build staffs as a young coach. Miami hires a young coach. Do you find it a positive, even though I don't like the human Jenga normally, but in this case, with McDaniel, if he does inherit the staff, there is some continuity there. So there was none on offense, so that's what you're fixing. It kind of does make sense in a way early on for McDaniel to kind of come in and not have to worry right away about a defensive staff.
I think that there would be a retention of some coaches, but I wouldn't assume that all coaches would stay.
Right.
Even though McDaniel is a young guy, he's coached in the National Football League for 14 years. He's coached on numerous staffs, 4 or so different NFL teams. So he actually has a pretty decent web of coaching history. 49ers, Browns, Washington, and maybe Houston or something. So he knows a lot of coaches. And remember, when coaches lose their jobs, their coordinators and other top coaches lose their jobs. So there's some good coaches available. I think he'll do a decent job with his staff, and I do think if you can retain some defensive guys, that'd be good too.
All right, follow him on Twitter at Shad Joe. What are you working on the Palm Beach Post so folks can please subscribe and then check him out? What's up?
Yeah, go to the Palm Beach Post website, go to my Twitter account, Shad Joe, and you'll find the story I wrote about Kenny Pickett and how he has a good role model in Dan Marino. Seems unlikely, but is there any chance the Dolphins would consider drafting a sliding first-round quarterback from Pittsburgh with the 29th pick? Who knows?
There he is. Follow him on Twitter at Shad Joe. Joe, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up later in the week, my friend. Enjoy Mobile.
See you, bud.
I'm jealous.
All right, thanks.
Later. There you go. We'll be there next year, Sean. I miss Mobile. It's 2 straight years now I haven't gone. Because I did go the year of the pandemic. It started because the pandemic started just after that. So I went to the East West and the Senior Bowl, but I did not go to the Combine that year. And this year, I think I'm probably not going to go to the Combine one more time. So it'll be 3 straight years for the Combine. And then next year, we'll get back to normal because I hope all of this crap is a lot less by next year. So there you go. We thank Joe Schad for joining us. Let's see. What else do we have? Rhino says for some to simply ignore the fact that he had a head coach that hated him and played behind an O-line that's bad O-line, we'll say to you, your agenda's obvious. No, it's true. I mean, the part that I don't understand, look, you don't believe in Tua, whatever. But like, if you think he had a fair shot at showing anything when your coach doesn't believe in you at all and can't build an offensive staff and can't get, any real good coaches around you, and I can't help you, man. I can't help you. That kid deserves better. Anybody deserves better than what he's gotten. And he's proven it already that he can win at the college level. But you got to meet him halfway. Sorry, you're not going to do it by yourself. Joe Burrow's a freaking stud. Love what I've seen from Joe Burrow, man, at LSU and now what we've watched in Cincinnati. But if his defense doesn't step up this week, he's home watching the playoffs because you can't do it by yourself. So you're going to need Jamar, and you're going to need T. Higgins, and you're going to need an ass-kicking kicker, and you're going to need Joe Mixon, who's obviously a pretty damn good player. Running the ball, catching the ball, even with a mediocre line, Joe Mixon's a badass. Miami doesn't have anything close to Joe Mixon. I just want a fair shot. That's all. I will side with those of you that don't believe in Tua if he has a good team around him and he can't perform. But if he has a crappy team around him, I can't expect him or anybody else to carry a crappy team. I can't. Sorry. some people never played football in high school or college, so they don't understand how much a team sport it is. You know, Eric, it's look, I stopped at high school, but I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it just has to do with common sense. Look at the damn game. If the 5 guys in front don't block, you're not going to really have a lot of success overall as an offense. It's going to be hard. And you can get by with some things, but you're going to need elite weapons. You're going to need things to overcome it at times. You're going to need a great coaching staff that will free things up even with bad offenses at times. But it's got to be a whole teamwork type of thing. It's got to be coaches. It's got to be players. Everybody's got to contribute to all of it. That's part of being a team. And I think everybody should understand that. And if you don't understand it, it's because you play fantasy football, because you really don't get it. And in football, man, you got to have a team. That's why Tom Brady's not in the Super Bowl. His team was not better. Kansas City's not in the Super Bowl because their team was not better. And by the way, we talked about it all year that Kansas City has lost its mojo and it has not played like it's played in its Super Bowl year. Did we not say that over and over throughout the year, Sean? So don't be surprised with what you saw in the playoffs, because we told you that they were up and down, and they paid the price. Sometimes you get, big head from your success, and that's what's happened to Kansas City. They got that one championship, they got that fat head, and they haven't been able to really bear down and get back to that game again. And Cincinnati shouldn't have beaten them, but it happened. So whether it's Mahomes or company or Andy Reid or whatever, they better figure it out. Or if not, they're going to be a lot like the Seattle Seahawks. That you're going to look at them and go, one championship? Damn, dude. You had all that talent and one championship? Wow, you should have had more, right? That's what we say with Aaron Rodgers. You had that quarterback, and you were only able to put together one good enough team to win once? And that's Aaron Rodgers. And you would think you could win all kinds of championships with Aaron Rodgers, but he doesn't have the team. So he's not going to win it. So you have to understand that it's a team game. Tom Brady's had the better teams. So he's going to win more than everybody else. And yes, you're put in that situation, he's going to come through. So what are you going to do? What else do I have here to talk about? Oh, by the way, the Panthers last night, absolutely amazing. 32-9-5. I know it's points and they're on top. I don't care about that. But just the record is so impressive. And the ass kicking yesterday of the Blue Jackets, 8-4. Mason Marchment, 2 goals, 4 assists. Sam Reinhart with a hat trick. Lundell had 5 assists. Wow. And Bob, when you have a team that scores so much, it puts even more pressure on your goaltender because he's going to get peppered left and right because they're so desperate to try to catch up. Panthers are so explosive, man. Tonight they play the Rangers at 7, but wow, this is the best team in town. This is going to be, get on the bandwagon. I know we had 18,000 over the weekend. Get on the bandwagon. Support this team. Let me explain why you should support this team. Let me explain. We've had some moments here with the big 3 and some great seasons. We had the 72 season that was perfect season here in Miami. There have been some incredible runs by the University of Miami football program. There have been some amazing seasons. And while hockey is not held to the standard of all those sports in town, in this city, because we're not Toronto and we're not New York and we're not Vancouver and we're not Detroit and certain places where hockey is royalty. I want you to get on the bandwagon, ladies and gentlemen, because this is one of the greatest teams in the history of South Florida sports. They haven't won a title yet, So they can't be put in that echelon with the Heat teams and the old Dolphin teams and the Canes football teams. But trust me, they're going to be there. They're going to have their run this year. They're going to break through. They're going to bust up Tampa Bay, and they're going to win the Stanley Cup this year. Get on the ride, enjoy it, and this might be the start of something pretty special for years to come, because most of these guys are under control of the Panthers. And the atmosphere is second to none thanks to the owners and people like Matt Caldwell and everybody else part of this franchise. So I'm telling you, for all the frustrations you have with the Dolphins, for all the frustrations that you have with the Marlins, okay? And we're still waiting for the Canes football team to wake up, and we're hoping Mario Cristobal does. And there's a lot of sports frustrations in town. This is the one team that's going to make you smile. And you're going to be able to enjoy one hell of a ride like you haven't enjoyed in a long, long time. And in the mid-90s, it was fun. And it was a novelty. And it was surprising to be there. This is different. They belong there. They are one of the best teams, if not the best team in the world. And they're in Sunrise and in your backyard. So I'm telling you, get on the bandwagon, get on this train, and enjoy it, folks. Panthers are the best thing out there in South Florida. The Heat are damn good, and they got a shot at winning it all. The Panthers are even better. That's how scary it is. By the way, I saw this story, and I mean, I'm not really feeling bad for them, to be honest with you, but it is, I don't know, I guess entertaining, funny, that kind of stuff. So here's a story, and wait a minute, what the hell? Okay, here we go. Oh, no. Wait a minute. Oh, here we go. So it says, the Titans can't move on from Ryan Tannehill in 2022. Tannehill has a dead cap hit of $57.4 million and $18.8 million the next two seasons. So the Titans can't cut him. The Titans signal caller also has a cap hit of 38.6 and 36.6 over the next 2 years, which really isn't tradable either. And at bare bones minimum, Tannehill is locked in for at least one more season and really two more. At this point, all the Titans can do at quarterback specifically is to bring in a better backup as an insurance policy or draft one to be Tannehill's successor. So I get it. It's rough for us here, but I still believe we got the quarterback in Tua. And I think with the right offense around him and coaches, he will prove to be the guy. Whereas I know you will never get the guy in Tennessee because you don't have him, and his name is Ryan Tannehill. And he will prove over and over again that he can't handle those kind of moments, that he will go scatterbrain on your ass. But if you want to do that, you go ahead, man. You want to go down that road, you go down that road and enjoy it. They are stuck with that dude for 2 more years. That, my friends, is as painful as it gets. What else do we have here that I wanted to see and talk about here on the program? Oh, by the way, while I know that Harbaugh's not going to be the coach here, and he's not being considered here, no matter what any of you guys think, I am rooting for him to get hired in Minnesota. I'm rooting for, Brian Flores has an interview also in Houston and whatever they're interested. They're probably going to give it to Josh McCown. This is probably just another interview just to see what the hell. But I hope. I don't think it'll happen. I don't think Flo was ever going to get a job. I really don't. I think people kind of learned their lesson from the whole Gase thing. and then everything else that's gone on with that tree that has been a disaster for Belichick. So I think people are kind of backing off from that tree now. And so I never thought he was going to get a job. I thought they were all token interviews more than anything else, just like Peterson. I didn't think Peterson was going to get a job either. I think it's just token interviews. But I'll tell you this, I am rooting for Brian Flores and I'm rooting for Jim Harbaugh to get the jobs. Because I want people to see that they were bad picks and that they'll fail again. And for the same reasons I told you before, hiring Flores now is like telling him everything you did in Miami was right. And they were all wrong, which is wrong. But he would act the same way, and because he was rewarded for acting this way by getting another job. Okay? So to me, that's the case there. And then for Harbaugh, I think he's as overrated as it gets. It reminds me a lot. John Gruden won a Super Bowl, and I'm telling you he's overrated. Jim Harbaugh didn't even win a Super Bowl, and he's overrated. Sometimes we have this thing about, well, just because you won, that means, oh, you've got to be great. Oh, dude, that's not true. Jack McKeon isn't squat as a manager. He's a goofball. Funny little old man with a cigar. A character. Right place, right time. He's not no great manager. Get the hell out of here. Oh, he won the title. Great manager. Get the hell out of here with that. It's like we have this thing. So I'm rooting for them. I want them to get jobs. I want to see them fail. All right, 855-912-1056. By the way, let me see if there's anything here. Any new ones on the text line here for you guys? See what we got on the text line, 855-912-1056. Bunch of them. Let's see. Okay. That was just an answer back. Dominic. Yes, Dominic. Yeah, I wear the wristband all the time, my brother. Thank you. Thank you, Dominic. I appreciate you. We wear them all the time, my brother. I know it may not come out on the show all the time, but I do wear them on and off. I'll wear them throughout. Hey, man, it's my Dolphins. Of course I'm going to wear them. These things are super cool. You and I got to talk. Dominic, send me your phone number, by the way. Okay? Send me your phone number on the text line there. We got to talk. Harbaugh would set Michigan back 5 years or more and reset the Dolphins back 3 more years. You will blow everything up. I hope Ross sees this. John in Los Angeles. FYI, I'm an old ass also. LOL. John from LA is a finalist in his own head. All right, what else? You're sending me a link of USA Today, Tom Brady retiring. Yes, he has retired. And having lost to the Dolphins more than any other team. Okay. That doesn't, that part doesn't really make me feel any better. You know that? Because we didn't win a title during that time. We didn't take it away from him, The most satisfying thing is watching the end of the dynasty in 2019 with that first team from Flo winning at the end of the year. That's probably my favorite moment from Flo's career here. Look at Wikipedia. I think the Dolphins hired Mike McDaniels. Oh, somebody already filled in. They were already doing that with Dable and McDaniel. Now they've got to change it, obviously, with Dable. But they've been doing it with McDaniel already, creating the Wikipedia page and putting him as the Miami Dolphin coach.
Heyo.
Yes, sir.
I just want to show my bracelet real quick. But
there you go. There you go. See, Dominic?
You see the whole thing about Brady. I was trying to get on before you switched over with Brady. He didn't thank anybody in New England.
Oh no, I mean I read the statement.
Yeah.
I didn't see the video off of his Instagram.
Oh no, I didn't watch the video, but there's a lot being said about that, and then also the picture that he put in there was the one of Tampa Bay beating New England in Foxborough. That is his retirement picture.
Right. Yeah, he's got to. Yeah, that's got to be. Look, you know what's going to happen, Sean? At the moment, he got the last laugh, and he's got to kind of rub it in a little bit. But then in the end, in 5 years, when he's a first ballot Hall of Famer and they put him in, he will then thank Robert Kraft and Belichick and players and Tampa and all that, and he'll do the proper thanks to everybody. But at the moment, yeah, I get it. He's got to kind of live in that Tampa image right now because that's where he finished and won his last title. So
Yeah, Kraft and the Patriots did put out
right
there's a picture of Brady with the New England Patriots, and then also Kraft put out a statement.
I got to tell you, listen, I know that, Kraft is not very smart when it comes to massages, and he could own Asian day spas. Instead, he visits them. So I get all of that, okay? And think about that. I mean, he should buy a chain of Asian day spas and create tunnels and just come up, from under them and nobody sees him. And he can get his, massages for free since he owns the place. Just an idea there, my man. Just an idea. Just trying to help you out there. But I'll give him credit on this. Dude, he's been super classy and very supportive of Tom Brady from the get-go. Even when Tom Brady left, and he left, Belichick with, a sore ass because he left. This guy was at the Super Bowl when he won it. He celebrated with Tom when he won it with Tampa. And so I would not be surprised. I got to give Robert Kraft a lot of credit, whether it's delivering masks or food supplies or things that they need in Haiti, or, so many different things. He's been incredibly charitable over the years. He's been a true patriot as an American, helping fellow Americans and others abroad in charitable sense. And he's been incredibly classy with Tom Brady, considering Tom Brady left his organization. But Kraft was smart enough to compartmentalize and say his issue was with my coach and not with me. So I'm going to support him and be his friend and his supporter till the end. I commend Robert Kraft a lot on how he's handled all of that. And as a Dolphin fan, it pains me, but I will commend Robert Kraft and the Patriot organization also on a lot of their charitable endeavors that they do. And they are very giving in that too also. So kudos to Robert Kraft. Just, brother, what are you doing in Asian day spas? Let's go. A little smarter than that. Come on. Let's see. What else do we have here that I wanted to talk about? Let's see. Oh, yes. Josh McDaniels will be the new head coach of the Raiders. And it's kind of interesting that he gets this job. And while he gets this job, he talks about how he failed in Denver because he didn't get along with people. And that he's learned from, those situations. And I think it's pretty cool that he's willing to admit that. And if you look at the article, by the way, and let me share a little bit of it with you here with Josh McDaniels. And in this article, he says, when I went to Denver, I knew a little bit of football. McDaniel said of his 28-game tenure with the Broncos over the 2009 and 10 seasons, I really didn't know people and how important that aspect of the process and maintaining the culture and building the team was. I failed and I didn't succeed at it. Looking at that experience has been one of the best things in my life in terms of my overall growth as a person, as a coach. What do I need to do different? How do I need to handle my role? If I have another opportunity, do I do it better? And this sounds exactly like Flo. A guy that didn't handle it right, didn't know how to handle people. It's interesting. And I think that's what hurt him now, because a lot of people say, well, this is Josh McDaniels and what's the other guy? McDaniels and damn it. Who's the other guy that also failed? I forgot now. But anyway, so they had, character issues. And now Flo had the character issues. And let me tell you what happens and where Bill Belichick fails his coaches. He fails his coaches because he puts them in a shell. And you know how every week you would talk to your assistant coaches and things like that? The Patriots don't allow access to their assistant coaches a lot. So the assistant coaches don't get to deal with the public and the media much. So they don't get that practice. So when they become head coaches, all of a sudden, they struggle because they haven't had that practice. And then because of that, then they have the PR nightmares that have happened to other Patriot coaches in the past. And that they go to places and they run roughshod through the building and they don't really know how to handle people. And so now here's a guy that got humbled after the process. Now we will find out if Josh McDaniels did learn. Okay, all of that is going to, come to a head here. We're going to realize that. But Bill Belichick, not that he cares probably, because he only cares about what the Patriots are doing, but he is doing a disservice to his coaches, not teaching them. I don't know, maybe he's got to be pretty good at it because you can't do it this long without, he's got to have some kind of skill set. I know Gronk had to have, he had enough, and so did Brady, and they left. But still, he's got to have some kind of skill set because they all go back. So all these other coaches for the Patriots, they've got to do something about learning how to deal with people. And that Josh McDaniels story is one that just reflects Brian Flores all over. It's exactly what Brian Flores just went through. All right, we got to thank Manny Navarro on the show, Omar Kelly, and Joe Schad for joining us. Tomorrow, by the way, Cameron Wolf is going to join us for one of his weekly hits. And we're also going to have Jordan Schultz, also from Yahoo, NFL Insider. He also gets NBA insight too, by the way. Jordan gets around. So Jordan has some insight on the Mike McDaniel. He seems to be the only guy that has some insight on Mike McDaniel's interview with the team yesterday. So guess what we're going to do tomorrow? We're going to have Jordan Schultz on tomorrow. We know Jordan personally. We've known him for years. So he is kind enough to come on to the program. So we will give you, as always, wall-to-wall Dolphin coverage like no one else can do. So we will have Jordan Schultz, and he will share his nuggets and what he has heard, all the special nuggets from the interview between McDaniels and your Miami Dolphins. All right? We thank all of you out there, as always. Thank you for locking it in and supporting us. We thank Manny Navarro, Omar Kelly, and Joe Schad. Excellent work by all three of them. And excellent work by all of you. Remember to smash the hell out of the like button before you leave. Please smash the like button. It is very important that you smash that like button. Share it. Share the link. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. All of that if you're listening on the podcast, watching on YouTube. All of it, baby. And Red Horse Adventure says, go crypto. By the way, what do we got here? What do we got going on the crypto market right now? Remember, I told you, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to sit calmly right now. We're close to 39. We're at 39,000 pretty much. So be careful. Watch what's going on between 40 and 42 with Bitcoin. Watch it very closely. If it breaks and continues to go to the up, then we're ready to go. Or if not, it could be one more contraction before the final breakout. So be very careful on that, how you handle everything. Okay. Let's see. We will see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.